Live again. I love being live. It's inspiring. Oh, I'll take off my glasses. They don't give back a little bit of glare. Going live for me, very inspiring. Very inspiring. Oh man, it was a good day. It was a positive day. Um, and I'm very thankful for that. As I make this, it's about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and starting to get dark. It's starting to get dark early now. It's November 8th, and the winter is closing in. Technically it's still fall too till next month, but but that's okay. It's still relatively cool, but not too cold. Last night I got down to about 35 degrees, and as I make this now, I know those glasses give a glare. It's about I don't know what's about 40, 46, something like that. That being said, that kind of sets the atmosphere for where it's at, living in my car, living a dream. But what I wanted to share about today was on my spirit in my live session, because like I said, for me, I do want to make it a goal to go live every day if I can, if it's within my healthy boundaries, if it's within my healthy space time allowment or allotment, I should say. It's a better way to say it. Is I want to talk about stretching yourself too thin. Okay, because I just got done doing a full day's work at my job when I'm on site, and for many years, for as early as I could work, I've always worked, and in part of my career path and part of my life path is that I've learned one thing that can tremendously hurt you physically, emotionally, and spiritually is stretching yourself too thin, putting too much on your plate, saying yes to too many obligations, saying yes to being willing to help too many friends, volunteering maybe for too much overtime, taking on a second job. I worked a night shift, worked my own business during the day, and then also, got involved with nonprofits and church. I stretched myself too thin. And when you stretch yourself too thin, life's just not enjoyable. And resentment comes in and everything else. And even the things that you enjoy doing are no longer enjoyable because you've gotten to a point in your spirit where there's no personal there's no personal joy. Your personal joy comes from spending time in your own personal space. However you define that, a man cave, your car, at the beach, etc. However you define your personal space. But when you don't get enough of that, and when you spend too much time helping others, whether it's family members, friends, whether it's volunteering for things at work, whether it's volunteering for things like at church or whatever, when you do too much volunteering and you start to stretch yourself too thin, you're not going to live a happy existence. And certainly, if you watch my channel because you're into downsizing and you're into living mobile or nomadic, however you want to say it, then certainly there's an attraction there that you think simplifying your life will help, and that will help. It will help you in the aspect of you won't be stretching yourself too thin, because there's no doubt about it, when you have a house or when you have an apartment or we have some type of dwelling like that, it takes up a huge amount of your time. I've talked about that many times. But also you have to be conscious of, even when you start to simplify your life, it's not just materialistic stuff that you have to be mindful of to downsize. It's also obligations. Obligations can even be as far as, going to people's weddings, going to people's baby showers, going to parties that, you don't want to go to. All that obligation has nothing to do with materialism, right? Whether you live in a car or house, saying yes to too many obligations and stretching yourself too thin is going to hurt you. It's going to increase your stress, and that's going to cause physical harm to your body. You're going to feel tightness in your chest. You're going to have higher levels of anxiety, and it'll start from a mental aspect of you're going to feel overwhelmed, that you're you're thinking about your work obligations. You know, you're thinking about, you said yes that you want to go to your friend's party on the weekend. You got that. You're dealing with your own stuff that you want to deal with. So stretching yourself too thin is the downfall of many people. Saying yes to too many things is the downfall of many people. Part of not stretching yourself too thin is learning to say no, without any type of guilt, and explaining to somebody, look, I have to say no. You have to be willing to tell somebody, look, I have the free time to go to your event, and I'm thankful that you invite me to your event, or, I have the free time to go to church, or I'm not doing nothing. I could work to overtime, but for you still want to say no. When you're able to say no without giving an elaborate excuse that, you have to, whatever, you have to work on a peace treaty for the Middle East. Just saying, look, no, it's not for me. And, it's just, I want to spend time by myself. Those are the small types of victories, and I'm just putting on my lights. Those are the small types of things that you have to start to discipline yourself when you're having conversations with friends, families, coworkers, etc. Because I see many times that people stretch themselves too thin, and then they get hurt physically, they get hurt mentally, and spiritually. I've seen so many people in the church and in different type of non-profit things that they volunteer for everything. They want to save the world. They want to make everybody else happy, and they lose themselves and they hurt themselves. And that's not good. Stretching yourself too thin can happen even if you live a simplistic life, even if you live with, a little amount of stuff. So I definitely want to bring that up, and I definitely want to share about that. Because life, however you're going to define your life, living out of a car, living out of a house, tiny home, anything, any stuff like that, it's all going to come down to, the type of mindset you have, okay? The mindset, the behaviors, the patterns, the the self-confidence, the self-love, the self-discipline, because it has to be more. It has to be more than just cutting down your monthly bills. People will never like my channel in the long term that just want to learn how to live out of a car and cut their monthly bills. Because that's a part of the equation, but it's a very small part in one sense. It's the most exciting part. People love to hear that part. That's why many people get oversold on the lifestyle. But that's the people that lead you astray, and that you end up in a car and you end up very disappointed. Or you end up in a tiny home and you end up very disappointed, because you'll realize that, oh shit, all right, well, what's next? And you're just fucking looking in your car and you're saying, this is it? I'm still not happy. And then you say, what else can I throw out? And there's nothing else to throw out. There's nothing else to throw out. The only thing left to throw out is your old mindset, is your old self. And part of that, may be that, you spend a part of your life, or a lot of your life, stretching yourself too thin. Maybe too many kids, maybe too many pets, going to too many obligations, those type of things wear on you. And the true joy in life is going to come when you have the right amount of personal time, and that you're excited about yourself, about where you're at, and what you like to do. Even, there's so many things that you can learn when you don't take on too much. And when you take on too much, you're not focused on yourself. You're focused on everyone else. And when you're focused on everyone else and trying to accommodate them, you don't spend enough time working on you. And you're going to, in life, you're going to come to realize that the only person you can help, and the only person you can change, the only person you can work on is yourself. And stretching yourself too thin is the first sign that you have started to neglect yourself. And you started to neglect the work that I'm driving, but I will be listening in. I appreciate that, JPM. Thank you. I'm just kind of, you know what I mean, going on my thing. Thank you for listening in on it. I appreciate that, JPM. South Carolina is here with us. JPM is from South Carolina. Yeah, I was just saying earlier, JPM, it's right now it's starting to get dark already, like I'm sure it is for you. It's dark here. It's about, I don't know, about in the 40s. And I'm looking at right now as I make this video, in front of me is one of the major highway turnoffs, and traffic is just ram-packed. So I'm sure you're seeing that. But as I'm saying this, and everybody, as I'm making this video, I mean, I see rush hour in front of me, okay? And I see many people that are stretching themselves too thin. And stretching yourself too thin starts to build up that bitter root of resentment. And the excessive obligations that, you know what I mean, you say yes to, begin to suck your joy and your inspiration out of your life. So like I'm saying, it's not just about minimizing your expenses. It's about minimizing your obligations and focusing back on the obligation of fulfilling yourself. Now, some people say, that sounds a little selfish. Now you're getting a little selfish. In some sense, I understand what you're saying, but what I've come to learn from a mature mindset is that until you're fulfilled yourself, you're going to spend your whole life faking it. And when you fake it with other people and you try to, you know what I mean, fulfill their needs, they don't end up happy. And they see right through it. And then, you know what I mean, it's a game. It's a game. Nobody's getting fulfilled. There's two empty people trying to fulfill each other, but no one's getting fulfilled. And it all comes from stretching themselves too thin. You know, take your own time and cut down on the obligations. You know, don't say yes to every party. You know, I don't care if it's like your friend's babies, you know. I mean, I said no to a couple people recently, and I love them. They know that. But I've been invited to a couple people's parties recently. And I've explained to them in detail that type of person I am. I just don't like social events. And I'm sorry, I don't want to go. And these are great people, beautiful people. They're positive, they're a blessing, they're not negative. But for me, I know myself. That's stretching myself too thin. You know, with my work obligations, when I'm off work, there's a certain amount of time that I need to be by myself. And then there's a certain amount of time I like to do things like this, even if it's not a grand thing and I don't have a big channel. I enjoy it. It's for my own fulfillment. And so balancing all that, and not stretching myself too thin is part of keeping my happiness. It's part of keeping my inspiration. Trouble comes. You know, trouble comes. You know, when it's just, you take on too much and it's not good. You know, that being said, you know, some other things that were on my spirit that I'll just share on briefly is, you know, you're going to have two roads in life. You know, it's going to be the road of confidence and the road of insecurities. And they lead to two different life journeys. You know, the road to confidence will really lead you into where you want to be. Now, wherever that's going to be for you. If it's going to be in a Jeep Renegade, if it's going to be in an RV parked, you know what I mean, somewhere in a campground, or if it's going to be in a mansion in a gated community, like I lived for a few years. I mean, it's all going to be relative to where you want. But the insecurities are going to lead you to somewhere where you don't want to be, but the peer pressure got to you, and you made decisions based on insecurities. Whether it's pressure from society, whether it's pressure from your family members, or, you know, whether it's pressure from, you know, someone, you know, you're dating or whatever. I had paid off, a few years back, I had kind of like got to a point where I finally paid off my debt. And I said, well, here I am, you know, I've been working consistently for a few years. I finally got to a place where I paid off my debt. I had a paid off car. At that time, I had a Jeep Compass. And I just paid it off, and I was living kind of almost carefree. I still had the mortgage and the house obligations, but I was living carefree. But I lost a bunch of weight, and I got back in the dating scene. And when I started dating again, I got caught a little bit back up into the insecurity game. And I'm just going to turn my lights on here. And the insecurity started to lead me down a different path. Okay? Because again, self-confidence is going to lead you down one path, and your insecurity is going to lead you down another. But I want to be very clear. You always have to make that decision. Are you going to be self-confident, or are you going to, be led by your insecurities? So after I paid off my Jeep Compass and after I lost a bunch of weight, I kind of like got a renewed lease on life. And I was in my early 30s. I said, all right, well, this is exciting. I'm back in shape. I fit good in clothes. And, I got some debts paid off. Hey, it's Miss Kimberly. I still don't need any waxing, but you're still on my list down in Houston. Respect and love to you, Miss Kimberly. I see you. And so when I finally had paid off my car and I got back in shape and I was getting back into the social scene, what I started to do was I started to give back into insecurities. So then, laughing out loud, you should come down. I may come down one day. I may. But I don't want to overpromise to you. Part of my initial conversation was say no to obligations. So back in the day, like I'll say, I'll be down there and I'll check you out. I'm not even going to lie to you. I may be down there, but probably not. Not anytime soon. What are we talking about today? Well, my live chats are always somewhat of a freestyle. I enjoy. I got to put my glasses on and off because I don't have my contacts on. My live chats, I enjoy. They're somewhat of a freestyle. I start off with a general topic, and I understand that people are going to jump in and out, and sometimes people don't want to hear me talk, so I just let it go. That being said, I started off with not stretching ourselves too thin and learning to say no to obligations, whether it's a baby shower, whether it's helping somebody move, whether it's saying no to overtime, whether it's saying no to, volunteering for the church cookout or to, baking cookies, for the CCD party or whatever. You have to learn to say no to obligations. Stretching yourself too thin. Oh, God bless you. You need to hear this. All right, well, that encourages me. Thank you. It's Miss Kimberly with the good filters. We know we love you. You're one of my favorites. And JPM's still on here too. Respect and love to South Carolina. Now, stretching yourself too thin. Hi there. Fear. How you doing, brother? All right? F-E-R. Respect and love to you, brother. Thank you. Hi there as well to you. You're here. You're heard. You're recognized. And you're loved and you're appreciated. Never forget that, man. I appreciate everybody out there that spreads love and that's positive. Like I said, you got to learn to say no without the guilt and without the over-explanation. If you got to give, a long-winded speech, you know what I mean? If you got to do a live stream to explain why you can't make it to somebody's baby shower, no good. You don't have to do that. Just say, look, no, I'm going to be relaxing at home and I'm going to be doing my own personal time. That's what I started with. Don't stretch yourself too thin. And then I got into how there's two different roads in life. There's a road of self-confidence, and even when you're confident, you're going to be scared. And you're going to, hey man, Football Boots review. Love and respect to you. Hey man, to you as well. Love and respect. There's two roads. There's the road of self-confidence and then the road of insecurities. And you're led by one of those two things. And even when you're confident, sometimes you're scared, but you still push forward in courage and in hope and in faith and et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, one mistakes in my life, one of the areas where I started to get led again, after I built up all my confidence, I'd paid off debt, I lost a bunch of weight, I'd started building up my own self-confidence, and I started to live the life that I wanted to live. I felt it. I felt the inspiration coming back into my veins. You know when you're living the life you're supposed to live because you're inspired. And when you're not, you're dragging ass. And what advice can you give about someone starting to live on the road? Well, one is what I've come to learn as a nomad, Football Boots review. What I've come to learn as a nomad is everybody has a different way to doing it, right? So some people travel the entire country on a consistent basis. They go from state to state to state. Some people, such as myself, for the most part, they stay in one area because they have a job obligation or family members or whatever, and they just float around the state. And, that's how they move. And once in a while, they'll travel to different areas, etc. So I think that's the first thing, you'd have to ask yourself is what type of nomad do you want to be? Do you want to be a nomad that just basically lives a simplified life, live out of their car, van, or RV, but you're going to live local to a certain area? Or are you going to be a nomad like a nomadic fanatic guy that you're just going to travel based on whether you want to follow 70 degrees and you're going to have some type of job or something that you can just work remotely? And that's, it's all relative to that. I've been wondering when they say able to grow, you have to stress yourself and do it not too much. I have been wondering whether they be able to say you can grow, stress yourself, and inspiration, enjoy. Thank you, brother. Thank you for enjoying. I appreciate that. I was trying to read both of them. Miss Kimberly told me if I tap this, then they come back up. But I'm tapping them, they're not coming back up because I missed a couple comments. I'm sorry about that. Um. Oh, here it goes. I'm sorry. Now I see it. Okay, Fear. I have been wondering why they say to be able to grow, you have to stress yourself. I kind of do not want to do it so much. What do you think? I want to answer one at a time. So, one is, to grow, you have to define. Yeah, thank you. Now, see, Miss Kimberly, you're teaching me a lot. Next thing you know, you're gonna be teaching me how to wax. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, I mean, obviously, fear. Fear, and I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not sure how you want me to pronounce it, but you have to. I want you to define your life. So I will certainly not tell you. This is what you need to grow. What I will tell you is your life, whatever is going to bring you alive, is around your confidence. So if not your insecurities. So if you have to live a life that meaning whatever for your job or whatever, you have to work 2 jobs so you can afford a house and you can afford a car to impress somebody else. You know what I mean? It's no good. It's no good. And that is not making you grow. That's living a life for someone else. And then that's the only thing that comes to mind with that. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, so I don't want to just give you a bunch of hot air. And then Trend News asked me, hey, Inspiration, enjoying the live. Tats, keep it up, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Trend News. Thank you. And we go from there. But like I was saying, now for me, when I was messing up, when I was struggling, I finally got my life back in order. I was inspired again. I had my debts paid off. I had a Jeep Compass, lost weight. I was back in the dating game. I was even on Match.com. And then I started to get entangled again with the peer pressure of relationships. Now, certainly, if you're in a relationship and you fully accept each other for who you are, then it's a go. It could add value to your life. But I was still insecure and I wanted to impress somebody with a car. So instead of me keeping my Jeep Compass paid off for, I ended up leasing a Range Rover. And I went right back into the cycle of living a life that wasn't truly me. Even though I enjoyed it, and I don't want to be totally disingenuous, and I could actually afford it, it made me then, and you're not going to drive a Range Rover and then have sweats and just be a comfortable you, which I enjoy doing at this point in my life. Then you're going to have the fancy outfit and it's all a whole package. You got to have you're not going to be living out of your Range Rover. I mean, that whole defeats the whole point. But the bottom line is what I'm saying is I got off track and I started to live a life based on my insecurities, not on my confidence. And instead of growing, I started regressing again. And then I really felt like I let myself down because then I said, I made all this progress. I finally paid off my debts. I was doing good. And I got caught right back in the cycle. So I want to encourage you that, there's going to be times in your journey that you get caught back in the cycle and you're going to hate yourself a little bit and you're going to fall. And that's why it's key in life that you try to remember, are you doing whatever choice it is for you, whether it's living out a car, whether it's, business related, however you define growing and being happy, are you doing it because it's something truly that's speaking to you and it's part of your life vision and passion, or are you doing it to try to prove to someone else that, look at me, I am worth it, I am a success, or I can make you happy, or, whatever it is. So, that's just my story regarding that. But, I think not stretching yourself too thin all ties in with that, which was my main really thing I wanted to share with you tonight, was just that, when you get into that tap dancing game, which I often talk about, and you start to live a life based on, put my glasses on, what jobs can someone do living on the road? Well, if you're going to live on the road, you have to define that again. Are you going to travel from state to state to state consistently? If you are, you're in a whole different ball game. Or you're going to live in one state and then just live out of your car or RV. So you can define living on the road 2 different ways. You're going to have less job opportunities if you just keep traveling from state to state, because jobs and making money over time is based on building up equity in one location. Unless you're going to be totally remote. I live here in the UK. Yeah. So, still same thing would apply. I had a couple people check me in. With the winter coming on, how are you dealing with the cold? Sounds like you are far from Jersey. You are from Jersey. Yeah, I'm from Jersey. I travel all over when I'm in New Jersey. It all depends on if I have to be on, like today I was on site for work, so I have to be closer to New York City, which I was. So when I'm off, I do like to spend time in southern Jersey or a little bit outside of Jersey. It all depends. But I'm dealing with the cold weather fine. I mean, let's say like right now, what is this? It's like 40 some odd degrees. Last night it got down, I think, like 34. Um, Layered up, no problem. Like I said, I mean, people make a big deal of it. I understand. But there was a couple times in my childhood growing up, we didn't have heat in our house and we layered up. It was no problem. I mean, some people are shocked by that, but I mean, I don't know. It's to me, it's not an issue. But everybody's different, so it's all relative to who you are. When are you going to Florida? I plan to go in Florida either later this month or earlier next month, either end of November or December, kind of like I did last year. And I'm going to check out a few things there. I do want to look at some RV lots. I don't have any plans to buy them, but I'm just going to, entertain myself a little bit down in Central Florida. But what I was talking to about one, excuse me with the glass on, what's your job? Information technology is the industry, and then specifically within that industry, I do electrical engineering. So I can do some work remotely, but some work I have to be on site for. So it's all relative to that. But electrical engineering specifically, but in the IT field. Yeah, yep. So, but I've worked, like I said, throughout my career. I want to encourage you. I've worked all different jobs. I worked for minimum wage one time when I was down the dumps. Yeah, it's good pay. I'm blessed now. But like I said, at one time I worked for minimum wage. At one time I had my own business. I've been in debt and I've had money. It's all relative. You know what I mean? It's all relative. I'm thankful and I'm blessed for my job. That's why I'm not just going to just be a full nomad and travel all over. Because like I've said in other videos, but I realize that everybody doesn't see every video, is that you're always going to need income. And even if you live on bare minimum, you're going to need health insurance. You're going to need this. You're going to need that. So, you don't want to get oversold on this dream of living on the road and abandon the equity you've built up in a certain area with regards to your skill set and with regards to your connections and your whole business network, because that gets built over time. And every time you leave a state, you have to rebuild that connection infrastructure of the people of the industry, et cetera, because each state is different. Each state is like a child, right? I mean, I've traveled up and down the East Coast. I mean, I haven't been to the West Coast, but what I can tell you is that each state is just like a person. They have a little bit of a different culture. They have a little bit of a different feel. And there's a different movement. Like, there's nothing like the movement of New York and how fast it is and how you have to adapt to it. And you know what I mean? And there's nothing like, and there's a different culture in Florida. There's a different culture in South Carolina. There's a different culture in Pennsylvania, which is right outside New York. So, knowing that and how businesses adapt to it, like down in Florida, East Coast 203, New Haven, Goonloso. I love Goonloso, man. Appreciate you. Respect and love, Connecticut. Let's see here. Fear said, what would you like to do if you get tired of living in your car? Good question, Fear. I mean, I don't know. I mean, right now it's been almost a year. I owned and lived in a condo for 15 years. What would I do when I'm tired of this? I don't know. I mean, right now, I in the foreseeable future, I don't see me getting tired of it because I'm still inspired. I'm inspired, love and support to you also. Thank you, Goonloso. I appreciate you and respect and love to your beautiful kids I see in that profile picture. I know you take me and a parent. Seriously and that you really want to do well. I get that vibe from you in our communications. And so my heart, my prayers when I think about you, Goonloso, is always for, God give you that extra measure of grace to be a great parent that I know you want to be. I always say being a parent, one of the hardest jobs. Respect and love to all the parents out there. There's some failure ahead because no parents are perfect, but no children are perfect, okay? So please, no guilt, and you keep pushing forward. Now, Fear, I thought that's a great question, brother. The only long-term thing I see outside me living in a car, if one day I got older or as I get older and the body starts to break down, I would buy maybe an RV lot in Florida, and I would buy a small RV, and I would just plop it there and then just travel out of my car. Thank you. Love and respect. I got you, Gunlo, so no problem. Thank you. What does your family think about you living in a car? It's Miss Kimberly. Well, there was a divide then. When do you have to go to the toilet? Where do you go? Well, when I go to the toilet, I eat pretty much a plant-based diet. Not always the case. I used to be morbidly obese, but I eat a regulated diet. So really, I only go number 2 in the morning and in the afternoon. And then other than that, it's just peeing, and I pee in a Poland Springs jug. So other than when I have to go number 2, I use public restrooms or work facilities, etc. And then when I pee in a jug. So I don't have to go at night because I don't eat like, back in the day, like I eat a bucket of fried chicken at night and then I have General Toys chicken. I mean, forget about it. You think I could do that and live in a car? I mean, you got to be taking a crap all over the place. I don't do that anymore. Part of me getting my whole life in order, one aspect of that was health related. And like I shared yesterday in a live stream, that movie Forks Over Knives changed my life. Plant-based diet and get my life together. So the other question was, what does my family think about me living in my car? There was a divide there. There was a divide. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sorry, I had to start my car, put my lights on because it's dark here. In New Jersey, it's dark. What time is it? It's only 5:30 and it's dark. I just had to start my car. But what does my family think? There was a huge divide. First, when I initially did it, I didn't tell either one of my parents. I mean, I've lived on my own since I moved out when I was about 23. I always kept a good relationship with my mother. My mother pretty much raised us as a single mother. My father was there, but it was always a strained relationship. And he tried his best, but he had his ways. Yeah, you've seen that documentary, Forks Over Knives. I recommend it for everybody. So our relationship was always strained with my father. And so I didn't tell either one of my parents. I didn't tell anybody other than a couple close friends that I knew that I was selling my house to live full-time out of my car. At that time, I was just going to downsize into my a smaller condo, but I couldn't find a smaller condo on the beach to buy. So then I started looking at YouTube. I see people living out of their cars. I said, oh shit, you know what I mean? That may be the simplest way to go. And it opened up my eyes. And then for the first 2 months, I told pretty much nobody other than 2 people. Then my mom, through my sister, somehow mothers always know something's up, I guess. And then she had my sister look online to, internet investigate to see when I sold my house or whatever. And then she asked me, she goes, Sam, did you sell your house? And I said, yeah, I sold my house. I told her. But I didn't want to tell anybody, because when you sell your house or when you end your lease, whatever situation you're in, telling somebody you live out your car is very embarrassing. I talked about that in an earlier video today, and it's very scary. And as people are going to judge you, I mean, because who the hell really understand? I wouldn't, like 2 years ago, if a friend would have told me he's living out his car, I said, oh shit, that guy really fucked up in life. I mean, that's how the initial mindset is. I mean, and I even had that mindset. So, you know what I mean? I understand how people will perceive us. I ain't telling anybody, including my parents. And then when my mom found out, my mother's always been loving, and in respect and love to all the beautiful mothers out there. I think there's nothing like a mother's love. And I think if you have a good mother, I realize not everybody has a good mother, so I appreciate that as well. But if you have a good mother, you should honor her. But you should understand she's not perfect either. Don't put her on a pedestal. She's going to have her moments of wildness, so you have to separate yourself from that. But so when she finally found out, she just said, Sam, look, if you're happy, if you're safe, just please be careful. I really want to live a life on the road, but I'm scared of what people think. You got to have I don't give a fuck attitude. That was one of my first videos, football boots review. If you care what other people think, it goes back to there's 2 roads in life. One road is based on your confidence and being determined to fulfill your destiny and your vision for your life. The other road is insecurities and caving into the pure pressures of family members, friends, and society. There's no way around it. No person that has ever achieved anything great has caved to the pressures of what people think. If you have that mindset, you will not, wherever you end up being, and I'm not going to tell you to live out of your car. I'm going to tell you, you have to decide for you. But what I'm telling you is whatever you decide to do, that's magical, that's special, that's a destiny, that's something purposeful in your life, you have to be willing to get laughed at and embarrassed. And if you're not, it's never going to happen. Never. Never, because there's always going to be somebody laughing at you. I mean, sometimes I make videos that are like fucking like Joel Osteen. I talk so calm. I say all lovey-dovey stuff, and fucking people dislike it, and they say negative shit. I said, damn. I mean, sometimes I make videos barking and going crazy, and everybody loves it. So you can't figure out what people like. And if you try to base your life, if you try to base your videos, if you try to base how you move in life, if you try to base how you move in life off how others will perceive it, it's the endless tap dance game, like I say. And you're going to be tap dancing for them the rest of your life. And then you'll wake up at 65, you'll resent everybody in this world because you realize you end up living somebody else's life instead of being yourself. Oh, sad life. Sad life. You don't want that life, brother or sister, whoever you are. And so what I would say is, yeah, you got to be you, man. You got to be you. And that's what I learned too. Like a couple people that really embraced me and supported me without any judgment, they were like the real deal. They're my real friends, my real family members. Then my father, like I shared in other videos, he got totally judgmental, and we stopped speaking after that because he judged the shit out of me for living out of my car. And brother here, God bless you. Thank you, Miss Kimberly, and thank you, Football Boots Review. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. So I want to encourage you, man, to do you something like me and it's Miss Kimberly. We were talking like, you're gonna get pushed back for opening up a wax business. You know what I'm saying? Like people are gonna say, oh, you ain't gonna succeed in this shit and this and that. I mean, all that. You face that in everything you want to do in life. Every piece of your destiny requires crossing over a bridge. And that bridge is self-doubt, number one. That's why you got to be confident in yourself. Because the first enemy you face is yourself. If we're really being honest, it's not even your family member or friends. Like, we like to put it off on that because then it's like, yeah, fuck everybody. But really, the first person you have to convince is yourself. The first person you have to convince that you can do it is yourself. Because you got to get yourself on board. Until you're on board with you, not going to happen. But once you start to build up yourself and believe in yourself and put in the work, and that's why I started this video. We're talking about don't stretch yourself too thin, okay? Because I got to put my glasses on to read this comment. I joined the military years ago, and nobody thought it was a good idea. I got out 4 years later in the military. I have no student loans. Yeah, God bless you, no student loans. Do what you want to do. Amen. It's Miss Kimberly preached that. I mean, no student loans and serving the military 4 years. I mean, that's and not caving into the peer pressure of doing other people think. You should be very proud of yourself. I mean, I know people in the engineering field. I mean, I work, and they're buried in student loans. It's a huge financial pressure, and so you should be very proud of yourself. It's Miss Kimberly, very proud of yourself, and you're a leader. I mean, I could tell in our communications and how you talk and how you speak. I mean, you're gonna be fine, And so just know, though, I want everyone to know, myself included, that even people that are leaders, that are great people, that have a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, a lot of wisdom, you're still gonna fail. Okay, I don't want to lead you astray. There's still failure ahead. The key is get up, try to learn from it, and you're going to fail again. All right? You're going to keep failing. You got to keep getting up, keep trying to learn, and God's going to give you some grace along the way. You're going to need a little bit of luck. Have you ever got kicked out of a parking lot? I've never got kicked out. I did a video. I did one time get stopped by the cops, or the cops kind of pulled up on me. Now, the state I was at, it was a rest stop. Now, depending on which state you go to and what rest area they have certain time limits, some of them. Some of them are like a 24-hour, thanks, failures or lessons. Yeah, failures or lessons. Very painful, though. I understand that. Sometimes I fail. I feel like, shit, everything I thought I knew in life, and then I fail again. I said, damn, I don't know anything. And then I'm playing Rihanna, Same Mistakes. That song spoke to me. I remember walking around Central Park listening to that in my earbuds when it first came out. Same Old Mistakes. Oh, yeah. Because you do. You go through the same old mistakes, and you say, oh, shit, did I really learn a lesson? And you feel so bad about yourself. And you can't feel bad about yourself. It's good, though. The other part of failure is good, which I also did a video about, is it teaches us compassion. If you don't go through failure, you'll never be a compassionate person. And if you want to be, if you just care about just success and just all that shit, I mean, I like it too. Believe me, I want that. But I don't want to be like an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have compassion. I like compassion. Now, you got to balance that out. Because some people, they want to take advantage of your compassion until you're fucking, you know what I mean? Until they're fucking you over. I hate to say that, but that's true. And they abuse you mentally, emotionally. And Rihanna, Kardashians, you're so cool. Yeah, just me. That's who I am. That's what I listen to. I appreciate that, though. Thank you very much. Yeah, I love Rihanna. Now, Kardashians I like somewhat, but, I watch. Yeah, but compassion, you need compassion. Being a compassionate person is a leader, but then you do have to balance that with being firm. Because people will take you on an emotional, they'll grab you by your emotions, and like I said, the tail will be wagging the dog. Because people abuse sensitive people. And they want to see how much they can basically manipulate you. So be careful too. You got to learn to say no. Don't stretch yourself too thin. Say no to obligations. Oh, can you help me with this? No, I can't. Yeah, I got the money to loan you, but I don't feel comfortable. That's the real life. That's real life. Some people can't accept that. Now, look, I understand we've all needed to borrow money, myself included. I want to be very honest with you. We've all needed to ask people for help, myself included. I've asked for people to help me move, etc., etc. But you have to learn to say no, okay? And don't stretch yourself too thin. Like I started off with this video. I mean, if you sell everything, or if you downsize and you live out of a car, van, or whatever small apartment, it's not just about materialism. It's about mind, body, and soul. So if you think the end goal is to only have $500 in bills per month, and that's going to make you happy, it will initially. You'll be on top of the world. You say, oh, this is great. I got some, and then 2 months later, after going through a couple months of only a little bit of bills, you say, oh shit, was this it? Was this it? What's your thoughts on where you're born? What's your thoughts on you're born for free or pay to live? What's your thoughts on are you born free or pay to live? That's an interesting question, Football Boots Review. I'm trying to understand that properly. I mean, I think this world's a little bit of shit, to be honest with you. I mean, so I don't born free. I don't. I mean, we're born free. We're blessed in America overall. With the understanding there's some bad shit in America. I mean, America's not perfect. It's got some injustices. It still needs to be refined. But overall, in perspective of the world, yeah, we're blessed. So in relative terms, I mean, we could say we're free. But as far as, but you still go through the shit of this world. Like people going, like probably even listening now, like you got burdens in your life. I mean, are you ever free? I don't think completely, not in this world. No way. No way. You know, we all carrying some type of cross, some type of burden. Society is so messed up. Yeah, it is. To some extent it is. But that's why it's a job of a positive person to add to society. Because the answer is not just to say society's so screwed up and then just be a complainer. We gotta engage, and we gotta be a voice, not an echo. And I don't want to be one of those people that just complain. Money makes the world go round. To some extent, you're right. Money makes the world go round. But that's why I say you empower yourself when you live simply. I mean, when you downsize your life and you live a minimalistic life and materialism is not your driving force, then you can make decisions based on righteousness or based on truth, etc. Voting counts. I vote all the time. I vote, just about in every election. I mean, as far as president, sometimes I don't vote in every local election, but voting counts. But understand too, like I've been through. I'm 37, so I've been through different presidents. Obviously, I have my preference. I'm technically registered independent, but I tend to lean Democratic. I mean, I vote for more or less Democratic. Thoughts on Trump. Thoughts on Trump is, I did not vote for Trump. I voted for Hillary. I thought Hillary, though, to be honest with you, she was a pander. She pandered to the crowd. I saw that one interview she did with the Breakfast Club, talking about she got hot sauce in her bag. It was disgraceful. It was. And so the thing about Trump is where he speaks truth. You have to be able to speak honestly. You can't pander. But I totally disagree with Trump's overall tone and his policy. I do not agree with his policy. Where he speaks to a certain aspect of truth is wisdom, and that's why he was able to grab a lot of inspiration and attention. But his tone is very divisive. But it's okay sometimes to be a little bit rough. But too, his inner circle, no diversity. It's all, and I hate to say it, it's all old rich people and white people mainly too. I don't see a lot of diversity. You need the diversity. You need it. And I'm not pandering. You need it. And his kids are yes men and yes women. His daughter's beautiful. His sons, I don't like his one son that hunts and always talking about socialism on his Instagram. Like he did a thing on Halloween, like, oh yeah, we're already teaching our kids about socialism. We're giving back, we're gonna, all the candy that my kid collected, we're gonna have to give to the other kids that didn't go out to collect candy because it's we're gonna, something about socialism. I don't like him. I don't like his son. His daughter, beautiful girl. I like her, how she speaks, but she's in it for daddy's inheritance. She ain't never gonna speak up against her father. That's my opinion. But I know a lot of people love Trump. Some people left my channel because they like Trump. I'm not mad at Trump. I understand a little bit why he won. And some things, like I said, if I'm being honest with you, some things he's right on, to speak a little bit tough. But as far as overall his policy and overall his tone, I disagree with. But I also, we have to learn to disagree. And we have to learn to have honest conversation. We did get too far in the country where there was just too much. People are scared to have an honest conversation. There's no way you can be a leader and not have an uncomfortable conversation. There's no way. You'll never make progress. So you have to get away from somewhat of the political. You have to be polite, but you have to also. So I'm not saying politically correctness is the answer, but you should always be polite and respectful to other perspectives. Do I own a gun? No, I don't own a gun. I've had guns pulled on me, and I've been around people with guns that never heard of the Second Amendment. You know what I mean? So they never heard about the Second Amendment, but they got guns. You understand what I'm saying? So I understand the gun life on both perspectives, but it's just not for me. You know what I mean? Because I know I would use it, and I don't want to use it. And the amount of times that you'll be in a situation where a gun will actually help you, and you'll be able to pull it out and use it safely, the percentage of that versus you pulling it out and not being able to use it correctly, and then even if you use it correctly, you have to justify yourself and have all the evidence. It's not a risk reward I want to take, but I do believe in the rights of citizens to have guns. I believe in that. What I believe in balance of that is gun control, not from the stand. Look, if you're on antidepressants, which the last few people that have committed mass shootings, they've been clinically on antidepressants, Xanax or whatever. If you're on an antidepressant, your gun license should be revoked. Your gun permit should be revoked. And automatic weapons as far as the accessories. I know you can't. There's already a lot of laws about automatic weapons, but they get the accessories. I mean, what do you need an automatic weapon for, B? And if you're worried about the government overthrowing you, the government's got nuclear weapons. You think an automatic RF-15 or whatever, you think that's going to help you from a nuclear weapon? Not going to happen. The government wants you dead. They're going to nuke you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like the same thing. Like when a mass shooting happens, the Republican side says, oh, the Democrats pander, now all of a sudden they want gun control. Then when a terrorist thing happens, the Republicans say, oh, we want immigration control. And so, you know what I mean? They don't want gun control, and when a mass shooting happens, but then they want immigration control when 1% of an immigrant, that is very small percentage of overall immigrants, commit something horrible. So there shouldn't be an overreaction. There shouldn't be massive call for gun control when a small percentage of gun owners are irresponsible, and there shouldn't be a massive call for immigration reform when a small percentage of immigrants are irresponsible. We have to learn as a country that the answer lies within the middle. And, majority of gun owners are very responsible, and they should have that right. Majority of immigrants are hard workers, and they're a positive aspect of society. So it's the balance. But people don't want to hear the balance. People want to hear the red meat. They want one side or the other. They want extremism, and they want either government or anti-government. But that's not the answer. Government isn't the end-all, be-all, and everything isn't a conspiracy. It's like, every issue is what it is. It's an individual issue. You have to think for yourself, and then you got to be willing to hear somebody else's opinion, and then, maybe down the road you'll change your mind, and maybe you won't. So it's an ongoing battle. It's a little bit uncomfortable, to have those conversations, and I understand that. It is. But, and it'll never be solved overnight. But the good news is, what I'm hopeful about is society, we continue to grow. I mean, America continues to make progress. And I'm going to get back to some of the comments, but I just wanted to finish my thought. I think societies continue to make progress. Society has gotten better from even when I grew up in the 90s. I see a better level of diversity. I see a better level of just a growing society with a better imbalance as far as economic, etc. And so I'm hopeful that society will continue to grow. Now that would create a lot of, I got to go back to the comments, and I got to start my car because my light went off. So I don't know, those are my thoughts, but we have to, we'll figure it out. I mean, we have figured it out. America's great, and we have to embrace, but also we have to admit, America has some also bad stuff. It's a balance. I mean, it's not, because you always have to remember, like, to some person that grew up, and they grew up in a good family, and they got a good job, like, for the Trumps, America's beautiful. America's beautiful. They grew up rich in the 70s when Trump had got $1 million loan from his father. There were people in minority groups that were still fighting for civil rights. So they have a whole different way they view America versus Trump. Of course Trump thinks America's great because he grew up in a silver spoon in his mouth. And so different people that grew up that just were getting basic civil rights in the 70s, they have a totally different way they view America and the way they view the flag. So it's like, you have to understand that. Like, one person sees the American flag and they see it as, this country's been great to me and I love it. And some people see that flag and they say, like, that country was shitty to my parents. There was a lot of conspiracy, in the 70s, etc., where there was a lot of government interaction to keep certain groups, down. And so that takes a whole generation to filter out. And, you know what I mean? I think we're getting there, but that's why there's two different debates. And that's why there's two different perspectives. There's many perspectives, but that's the overall that many people don't want to talk about. And it's not one's right or one's wrong. It's just that they're different perspectives. They're different ways to view things. One person, it's just, that's the way it is. Let me scroll back to some of these comments. I know I'm getting long-winded. I apologize. What irritates me, I'm going back to trend news. What irritates me is the Hollywood tribe. They have so much disrespect for the president, whether you like him or not. He is our president. Okay. That's democracy all about. You can vote for him again. No, I agree with that. And look, I didn't vote for Trump, but when I said when he gets elected, I mean, you got to get behind him. But it goes back and forth too, trend news. It's like when Obama got voted in, many people didn't want to accept him as their president. So it's like they go back and forth. But I agree with you. Like, you know what I mean? I'm on board. Like, I want any president to be successful. I mean, sometimes I read Trump, I get upset. Like I said, overall, I lean Democratic, so I got to be honest with you. I don't want to pander to you. But I respect what you're saying. But it's a double-edged sword. Like I said, when Obama was president and when Clinton was president, they tried to impeach Clinton. And rightfully so. I mean, did some disrespectful things. But that goes back and forth since the beginning of time. And will you ever solve that? No, you always get a disagreement. What you have to remember is that just continue to take it issue by issue. It doesn't really matter. Trump, Obama, Clinton, Bush. the president matters, but what matters more than that is taking each issue individual and thinking for yourself. Because when you get into I'm pro-Trump or I'm pro-Obama or I'm pro-Clinton or I'm pro-Bernie, you get into a non-critical thinking mindset. And now you are no longer thinking about issues on individual basis. You are thinking about blindly supporting one person. I voted for Obama twice, but there was plenty of things what he did I disagreed with. Like, you know what I mean? As soon as there was like a gun thing, like he would go right to gun control. But like I say, I would like to see a lot of these mass shootings, or if you trace them back, a lot of people were on prescription drugs. Prescription drugs, specifically antidepressant drugs, cause thoughts of suicide. You see it on the commercials. Increased thoughts of suicides, you know what I mean? Violent thoughts, etc. So there's a holistic view rather than just saying, oh, gun control. But again, same thing, like when there's a terrorist attack, it's not just about, all right, well, now we have to secure the borders. No. It's like that's a small percentage, so you have to think, you know what I mean, on an individual issue. But people don't want to critical think. I mean, people want to talk about pissing in the back of the car. I mean, that's a little bit human nature. I'm gonna scroll back. So that was trend news. There's always been news, even when it's fake. Yeah, no, the news media I think is that's one thing I do agree with Trump that he spoke to. I don't agree with most of the news media, but you got to understand, news media is a corporation, so they get paid off drama. They get paid just like the Kardashians. So they only get paid if you watch. You only watch if it's drama. If the news, instead of tonight talking about a mass shooting or talking about a terrorist attack, if they talked about like a firefighter saving 3 cats in a tree, how many people would watch? Nobody would watch. So human nature is they don't want to see that. Excuse me, I'm trying not to wear my glasses. Got no get reflection. I don't have my contacts on. But like right now, I mean, if there's a car, I see it all the time when I drive. I'm on the road constantly. There's a car on side of the road, and it's totally over to the shoulder. It's not affecting anyone else. And people slow down to look at that car, even though it's not in the highway at all. Why? Human nature. Human nature wants to see drama. It does not affect them. It should not affect them. But so the news media plays to human nature. But I think we're growing past it, because now with social media, like one of the best things I ever did was cut my cable TV, even when I had a house and I just had YouTube, and I watched things that inspired me, or things that, even if they're talking about issues such as this, at least it's in an interactive manner and it's not like just one side or the other. So that's my thing on that. Okay, so now I apologize because I know I'm a little bit behind on comments. It's Miss Kimberly. I know she was saying something that's true. Why are so many sheep? Well, there's a lot of, and people pray on the week. That's sad. Moon Dance. Hey, Moon Dance, how are you? Moon Dance is a good view. Me and Moon Dance have been cool for a while. I'm for guns and immigrants and rehabilitation institutions. Used to be called mental they closed a lot of mental institutions. Mental pain is a huge part of life that too many people don't talk about. And my heart goes out to it. I mean, we got to, and the answer for mental problems isn't just giving people Xanax or whatever pill it is. And that's a shame. And that's where I think we're hurting as society. It's a holistic view. The food plays a big part in your mental well-being. And some people just always, no matter what pill you give them, what diet they're on, they're always going to be a little bit out there. You can't control that. I want to get back to everybody. So it's Miss Kimberly, but Trump is very disrespectful. I agree with that. His tone is disrespectful. Yeah, once in a while you have to speak a little bit to the issue, but he's too disrespectful. I agree with that to everyone. I agree with that. Women, disabled veterans. Yeah, I agree with that. He disrespected that one veteran. I remember even during the election. I disagree with it. Overall, he's disrespectful in many cases, not all, but many cases. I agree with that. Trump is doing a lot of good. He just needs to shut up. And I agree with that too, Moon Dance. I mean, he's doing good in the aspect of he's changed the conversation from only political correctness and only, but I believe in being polite. That's where he goes too far. I mean, he's very disrespectful sometimes. But you can't just have an orchestrated speech, an hour-long professor speech. You don't move society like that. But that being said, there's always going to be evil, right? Because you had Obama for 8 years and bad stuff happened. You have Trump for however many times bad stuff happens. In one sense, you can be Jesus Christ himself or Muhammad or whatever you want to believe in. You're never going to get to a point in society where bad stuff is not going to happen. We can't, as citizens, we can't always blame the president for that. We can't blame Obama for that all the time. We can't blame Trump, and we can't blame whoever is going to be in office, next election cycle. You can't put the burdens of, the world being perfect on the president. And when we as citizens do that, we're pandering to ourselves. I mean? We're trying to, we're asking an unrealistic expectation. And then that's why arguments just happen. Because, look, I mean, Could Trump, you can't control some crazy shit that happens. You can't. All right. So now that would create a lot of jobs. Oh yeah, that would create a lot. But Trump is disrespectful. I read that. I agree with that. Yeah, he does not. He does need to shut up. Yeah, no, sometimes he needs to be quiet. I agree with that totally. That would probably help him a lot. Stay off Twitter. Well, I actually, to some extent, he should stay off Twitter. But I actually enjoy him tweeting. That at least, you know what I mean. He's out there. I always say that you have more to fear with somebody who is not kind of speaking what they believe rather than they are. So I'm not mad at his Twitter feed, but I totally am mad, or I totally disagree with the tone that he sets. You got to balance it. You can't just be so soft and Joel Osteen, but you also can't, everything can be contentious. The problem is balance. But we all struggle with that in society. Being well balanced and having enough firmness and then having enough compassion, you need that balance. And that's very tough. And that's a tough thing to ask anybody because we all struggle with that. So I hear you though, Miss Kimberly. Thumbs up, peeps. Hey, thumbs up to you, Moon Dancer. Trend News, 100% agree. You don't have to agree with all they say. We just need the country to move forward. Yeah, we have to come together. Look, we're all love, man. Miss Kimberly, true. Yeah, look, I mean, it's beautiful people everywhere, man. Moon Dancer, true. Football review, true. Rubbernecking. Yeah, rubbernecking. That's what people look at the accent next to the road. McCain. What do I think about McCain? I don't know if that's what you're asking me. I mean, McCain, I have mixed feelings about him. I mean, he seems like a polite guy. But I don't know. I don't have too much passionate thought on McCain one way or another. Do you think ISIS is being funded by governments? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. There's got to be some money behind it, whether it's Iran or whatever. That's possible, definitely. I mean, in the Middle East, it's the same thing. I mean, their countries are divided, Sunni versus Shiite, et cetera, et cetera. So there's different tribal warfare that goes on in different countries. But what happens is people with money, I don't know if you've ever been to Saudi Arabia or something. I just know somebody got back from Saudi Arabia. It's controlled basically by, a few people on top, kings, et cetera, that have a lot of money. And the majority of people are impoverished. If you don't know people that run the country, you're totally impoverished. And they use, not everybody, but just like here, I mean, they'll use religion to control mindsets. So is ISIS funded by certain governments? I'm sure they are. But I'm sure it's not a religious thing. It's just that religion is used to control the mindsets of people. And when you're poor and when life isn't worth living anymore, like I remember seeing an interview of a Syrian refugee when they were getting bombed. And she said, look, like life isn't worth living anymore. And I totally felt for her. I mean, when you're living that situation every day and life isn't worth living, life just isn't worth living anymore. And you're a mother and you got kids and you're in the middle of a warfare like that. I mean, and you can understand why it just gets crazy. So, what's the answer for world peace? I don't have that. And I don't want to, start to lie to you like I'm the savior. I mean, there is no one answer. There's always going to be world. All we can do is not get distracted on trying to figure out world peace. Is just be our best selves. And that's my goal. Is I'm not going to try to sit here and tell you I have all the answers. I'm trying to always work on myself. I try to be respectful to other people. I try to treat people how I want to be treated. And when, and that's it. And that's all I can do. That's all you can do. I can't ask you to defeat, and we go from there. Okay, what's next? Do you think ISIS? I just answered that. No, they are funded by Clinton's. Moon Dancer throwing a shot to Clinton's. Clinton's had a little bit of corruption, but I think Bill did a good job, and I like Hillary, but I understand why people hate on Hillary. She's a little, but I understand Moon Dancer. A lot of bad things happened under Obama. Yeah, some did. He did a lot of great things, though. I thought he was a great president. And I'm sorry, guys, I lost you. I had a bad connection came out. But yeah, you don't have to justify anything. But overall, President Obama, from when he took over the country in 2007, 2008, our country was in a very low point. Economically, we were entrenched in two unproductive wars. I think overall, he did a great job, in my opinion. I know some people disagree with that, but that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. So, yeah, overall, he did a great job. Some things I disagree with him on. And after 8 years, anybody, you get tired of him. I mean, after 8 years, most people get a divorce. So it's like, so it's all relative. It's all relative. Okay, so war is profitable. No doubt about that. War basically only benefits, it doesn't matter what country, it doesn't matter what reason, for the most part. War mainly only benefits a few people. The only time, obviously, war is justified, in my opinion, is when you're dealing with a situation like World War II, where you're having a mass amount of people, such as the Jewish population, etc., that were, being totally, totally just mutually executed, in a harsh way. That, I mean, that's when war is justified. I mean, you can't have people go like that, etc. But I mean, so that's my opinion. I mean, obviously, sometimes war, when you're in like a World War II situation, is justified. Not that you want war. No, I said McCain to when Trump disrespected him from. Yeah. Trump disrespected John McCain service in the military, but Trump dodged the draft 3 times, and so he has no right to say that McCain wasn't. So he disrespected John McCain. I did a whole video on that, but then he wants you to salute the flag because that like honors veterans. But he himself didn't honor a war veteran. So he's a little bit of a hypocrite when he says that. Now, to be fair, so did Chris Rock. Did you ever see Chris Rock's comedy thing? When Chris Rock, when Obama was running against him, he's like, McCain, who was he to run against Obama? He wasn't really a hero. He was just somebody who got captured. So actually, Trump stole that from Chris Rock. YouTube, when Chris Rock did that about McCain. So you'll see it on both sides. That's my point. But I totally agree that Trump, he says he claims he loves the military, but he dodged the draft 3 times and he disrespected John McCain. Prisons are profitable too. Yeah, prisons are profitable too. So, prison system is definitely an issue, and the judicial system with regards to money and how it's handled is a big problem. But two, there's always going to be people who do bad stuff, even when you have like beautiful prisons. So there's always going to be a certain percentage of society that always acts up, and you're going to need some type of prison. Whether they rehabilitate people, that's debatable, and I think you ought to have a better job placement program. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have all the answers for that. You always could have a percentage of people that are bad. There's no way. I know people that have been in jail and come out, and then it's hard to get a job. And some people, it never clicks to them for life. So I can't speak for everyone and every situation. And we go from there. But overall, I would say society's still moving forward. Hillary is very strange. Hillary's strange. I mean, she wasn't the greatest candidate. So that's true. That's true. I agree. Yeah, we really got into politics, but that's okay. I mean, that's part. I don't want to be disingenuous. I'll keep reading the comments, but I know like some people will be upset. Okay, we got knocked in and out. Yeah, I know some people will be upset because they only want to talk about living out a car, et cetera, and they don't like when people talk about politics. But when someone says they don't talk about politics or religion, I think that is very disingenuous, because everyone has an opinion and everyone has something everyone has decisions that they make in life based on their faith and their politics. So if I sit here and I give you an hour worth of streaming and I only talk about pissing out of my car, I think like I'm being so disingenuous to you. I mean, I'm giving you my opinion, and I realize some people may like it and some people may not, but I'm truthfully sharing my life with you. I'm not pandering. Like, I can make a video with me standing outside my car and showing you 3 tips to make a bed and dodge every like political question, but I want to just be honest with you. These are my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. I understand that. I'm going back to the thing. All right, some people jumping in and out. That's okay. Get rich, people poor. I believe that's true. Yeah. The Clintons are responsible for at least 70 people disappearing under the Clinton administration. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know all the information there. The lady talking against her now, who used to be her friend, will disappear soon. Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know about. But I respect Moondance. I respect, I respect everybody's opinion. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to be embarrassed or shamed, whether they're pro Trump or whether they're anti-Trump. I want everyone to feel secure, and I don't want anyone to leave this conversation or any conversation feeling like they have to be upset or have anxiety. Because look, we're all, trying to find truth. Truth and inspiration. This is based on research. I won't say anymore. No, that's okay. Moondancer, look, love and respect to you. You're sharing your perspective on what you found. The search for truth is endless. And it's, the truth requires questioning of what is common knowledge. So there's certainly not you're right, I'm wrong. Why do poor people have more kids? There's no one answer for that as well. But having a child in itself makes you more poor. I mean, once you have a child is. I'm sorry, I get knocked in and out. I mean, well, they say statistics show that having a child from 0 to 18 costs about $250,000. So, once you have a child and once you have 2 child, you just get behind the 8 ball because it's so much money to raise a child, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's like anything else. I mean, why? That's like saying, why is an overweight person why doesn't he only eat 1 potato chip? And I've been severely overweight. It's like sometimes you get in a point in life where you get yourself so in a hole that there's no way out. And all of us, myself included, have done that. So just because I at times overate and was morbidly obese, does that make me any better than somebody who maybe had a few more kids than they shouldn't have? I mean, we all, and we all have to be honest with ourselves and with each other, that we all, in different areas of our life, make bad decisions. And certainly we all, myself included, pay for those decisions, but we have to have a level of compassion. We have to. And we have to get rid of, judgment and harsh tone towards each other. Because we only hurt ourselves. You'll leave this conversation and you'll leave your life in those harsh arguments with people trying to make the other person feel bad, and you feel, look, you got to have compassion. You got to just keep doing your thing and focusing on yourself. I try to spend all my energy saying, how can I be a better person? Not saying this is why this person's a bad person. And then the better I can be, sometimes it's a cycle within a family. I agree with that. It's Miss Kimberly. I saw that within my own family to an extent. Cycles, and that's what my greater point is. Cycles are hard to break. Whether it's getting a bad food cycle, or you get in a bad relationship cycle, or you get in a bad spending cycle, or you get, all of us, we get caught in these cycles. So I don't want to sit on my high and mighty horse and say this, just because I never dealt with that cycle, I've dealt with other ones. So compassion is a key part of leadership. With a balance of, you also have to be a level of, all right, we got to get it together now. It's a balance. It's not one or the other. But compassion and empathy are necessary. They are. What's the point of life? That's to be defined by you, okay? That's number one. I always want you to think for yourself, and I want you to be yourself. I don't want to tell other people, what their point of life is. For me, it's just an ongoing process of becoming a better person, and that's pretty much it. If I'm, I don't want to give you a long-winded speech. I just try to continue to be a better person. This is really helping me, because if anything, I'm talking to myself, and I'm trying to, see where I can improve and what I can do better, and but I definitely say, like, what's really helped me is just realizing that less is more, and I think the less materialism you have, and just the less aggravation, the less responsibilities, the less you stretch yourself thin. That's what I started this whole stream about. I think the more you'll find what the point of life is for you, okay? So whether it's trending news, whether it's Miss Kimberly, or whether it's Moon Dancer, or whether it's JPM Lawn Care, you're to define your own life. And I want you to define your own life. And I think as you give yourself the proper amount of time to heal and to spend time, in self-reflection and, recharging your batteries, going for walks and doing creative things, I think you'll find your purpose of life. And it will evolve over time, okay? So what you feel your purpose today is, it may change in 5 years. And you have to give yourself the freedom to do that. Football boots review. How often do I just started doing live streams on Sunday. You have to have 100 subscribers to do a live stream. Now that I talked about politics, I may be back down to 100 subscribers, but I don't care. I'm just being myself, and that's who I am. But so I first started doing live streams on Sunday. I really enjoyed it. I get inspired by it. There's something different and magical about going live and having this live interaction with you guys. Like, see how I started on a subject and we went into a whole conversation about all these different society issues? Sorry about that, guys. I got booed off. Trend News, God bless you, man. Keep up the great conversation. Thank you, Trend News. Thank you. So I first started live streams on Sunday. I'm going to try to continue to do them once a day. I do them in the afternoon. During the day, obviously, I'm working or doing something personal. And I ask myself that when family members or friends die, it sucks creating relationships and memories with people that pass. Now, losing a loved one and feeling the pain of loss is one of the hardest things any of us will have to deal in life. So, and it makes you question. It's tough. There's a lot of guilt. That's what I'll say about when you have to deal with somebody that passes. The biggest thing you'll have to face when someone passes away, in my experience, is guilt. You have to let that go. You have to let that go. And that's what I want to say about people passing. I try to do live streams to get back to, I try to do live streams once a day, usually towards the evening time. And then if nobody joins, I just talk to myself. And if some joins and we go off topic, we go off topic. I am not a subscriber, and I was watching a video and noticed you live. Thank you, Football Boots Review. I appreciate that, man. I really do. And don't feel pressured to subscribe. Oh, thank you. You did get a subscribe. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. And I appreciate it. That's all I say. I appreciate that. I want to get, let's see here, to, it's Miss Kimberly. I lost my sister and my grandma. I'm sorry. And it's been hard. Miss Kimberly, all I can say is love and respect. And it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard. And I think the biggest thing about losing someone, in addition to guilt, is it makes us feel alone. And the older you get, fact is, the more people you will lose. It's fact. Obviously, the older you get, the more friends you're going to lose, the more pets, and God forbid, children, siblings, parents. Parents, huge problem. And that every loss, every time someone passes that you had a genuine connection with, a piece of your soul dies. And I would be lying to you if I say it doesn't. All I can say, does time heal? That's the next question I ask myself. Does time heal? Somewhat. Somewhat time heals. Will you ever fully be the same? No. I mean, I don't know if you can see my finger that well, but I broke this middle finger playing basketball, this ring finger playing basketball. See how it's bent a little bit? And when I broke it and it snapped out of its socket, time healed it. I'm able to have full function with my finger, but it's never been the same. It never fully sits straight. And I think that's how your soul is when somebody you love passes away. Like, time does heal. You're able to get back full function, back to life, but your soul's never fully the same. There's waves of emotion. You get over it after a while, and then you'll hear something or you think of something, and a wave of sadness will come upon your spirit, and you have to not let yourself stay there. That's the only thing I can say. You gotta let go, let go, let go, let go, let go of those thoughts. And praise the Lord. I mean, you gotta let go of those thoughts. Not easy though. I have compassion. I do, because I realize life. I see that and I agree. Amen. Amen. So it's a beautiful thing, man. This is a great conversation, man. A lot of people with a lot of good insights, man. A lot of good topics, and it was really good. Do you think God is real? Yeah, me personally, Football Boots Review, yes, I do think God is real. For me, okay, God, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. Now, faith has been a huge part of when I started getting my life together in my mid-20s. Faith played a role in that. I've known people, I did a video about it, from all different walks of faith. I grew up in the New York area, which is one of the most diverse areas in the world. So I have friends of all different religions, no religions. I have atheist friends. So I've never been a narrow-minded person. I mean, I understand some people grow up in different parts of the country where there's only one faith. So, they're a little bit maybe narrow-minded, not because they want to be, because that's all they've been exposed to. I've been exposed to everything, every type of religion, and I've been exposed to people that have no religion. It doesn't affect me either way. Like, I could be cool with anybody of any religion or no religion, because I'm not trying to force anybody to convert. Like, I'm just being myself. But for me personally, God and Jesus, why do I believe in Jesus? Because I just believe in the compassion and the grace he showed. You know what I mean? I mean, I believe in God as love, and, those type of basic understanding of God, okay? Do I fully understand God, and can I fully tell you why everything happens in the world? No. And I think anybody who starts to give you that whole spiel, the next thing you know, they're going to ask for a donation. So that's not my game here. And should you believe in God, that's your decision. I can just share with you my life. I helped my sister transition into the next life by telling her she can go, and then, and the next day she passed away, and experienced something like that. You'll know that God is real. Amen. Amen. It's Miss Kimberly. Her sister passed away, and she basically helped her sister let go, let her spirit transition into the next world. And God used her. And I've been in that situation where God has used me with different people. So I know exactly what you're saying. And I do believe that God worked in your life. Whether other people believe it or not, doesn't matter. I believe it because I've experienced. Some people may have not experienced, so you can't be mad at them if they don't agree with you or they don't believe you. But I hear you, and I want you to know that that's a beautiful thing, and I'm with you on that. But only you can have that feeling. That's right. Nobody can tell you God's real. That's right. Yeah. The more you try to convince somebody about anything, the more they rebel. Because look, everybody has their own, everyone has inside them a spirit. They want to be free. They don't want to be controlled. They don't want to be told what to do. And so you got to give people the freedom to be them. And that's what I try to set a tone and an environment, especially that's why I like these live streams. Like, I try to honestly answer and give you my opinion, but I also try not to like bully my opinion, like against, anybody or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because, people got to figure it out for themselves. And as long as you're not hurting nobody else, then you got to do you. You got to be you. Now, if somebody's hurting someone else, then I got to get involved, and then other people got, and then everybody should get involved, because nobody should hurt somebody else for whatever reason. So that's my overall view on life and God. You can get into it, and talk endlessly about it, but that's just on a basic level. But great points, And I apologize because I know like these my glasses get like give you feedback, but when I have my contacts in, I'm trying to see the screen and I'm like this. You understand what I'm saying? Normally I wear contacts, but on my work days I like to wear glasses. I like to let my eyes breathe, and I like to be comfortable, and we go from there. As I make this, what time is it Eastern time? It's 6:12. This has been a great live feed, man. We've been going. I'm looking here now for hour 15. Yesterday I did 2 hours. I enjoy it. I got a little bit more free time, and then I'm gonna proceed with my evening. But I'll leave it open for a little bit longer. Um, when I had turned off my cable TV, and then when I fully started living as a nomad, I watch different things on YouTube, and I watch different live Twitter feeds that do like Periscope. And sometimes, like, I just listen with my earbuds on at night. Like when I get ready to go to bed, I listen to a guy. Now I don't like him. Like fully, I can't support him. I feel a little embarrassed saying his name. He's a preacher, and he's a little bit maybe a crook. I don't know, so I don't want to. But I'm a guy, Mike Murdoch. He's in Texas, and he's probably a little bit of a crook. I'm not gonna lie. But there's some things that he says that inspires me. And like at night, what does a nomad need? What does nomad mean? So I actually Googled that. There's several different meanings. How I define it for me, and how one of the definitions define it is someone who doesn't stay in one place long. They move from place to place. And I have that itch inside me. Like, obviously, when it's work related, I need to be in a certain area. I'm going to do that because my work and my income is priority. Because you need an income and you need to be productive and you need to support yourself. But outside of that, I don't like to stay in one location. And that's part of the reason I sold my house, because, I felt like I was being burdened and being like weighed down by having to go back to the same spot every day. And I didn't want to go back to that spot anymore. And I wanted to be able to just go wherever. And that's what I like to do. For me, there's something in me that I like to see different things, and I like to go to different places, even if it's within the same state. That constant movement gives me life, and it also gives me perspective. Because I've traveled, I travel up and down the East Coast of America. But like if you go from New York City and then you go into a rural part of, whether it's upstate New York, whether it's Vermont, whether it's Pennsylvania, whether it's Pittsburgh, whether it's Delaware, whether it's Maryland, whether it's Washington, D.C., when you see how different people live in those different states, it gives you life perspective. And that's helped me also, not just for my own inspiration, but to experience different way people view life. Stephen Fukin and John Gray are my favorite preachers to listen to on YouTube. I have to look them up. It's Miss Kimberly. I never heard of them. I'll have to look them up. Yeah, I've been looking for a couple new people. Sometimes I like to listen to preachers. Sometimes it's hard to find somebody that talks to you, just right. But yeah, you need inspiration, and you need somebody to speak to your soul, to encourage you. But ultimately, the biggest thing anybody should do is help you to just be yourself and think for yourself. You got to be very careful, and that's why sometimes I get upset. I can't listen to too much preachers or whatever, because I get very nervous when people try to, just get you to be led around by the hook by them. Think for yourself. Like like that one guy I watched, like preaching. My bro's 11:15 here. I'm going off now. See you tomorrow, hopefully. God bless you, Football Boots Review. Thank you, man. Peace out. Peace and love. Love and respect to you. Thank you for joining, and good luck with your brother, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. Like that one guy I listened to who's a preacher. Like, he doesn't have a harsh tone, right? Now, he doesn't have like a mean tone. He's got a soft tone. But it's almost like he seduces people into like being brainwashed. And that's what I mean. That's just as scary as somebody with a harsh tone. You understand? So you got to be very mindful in life. Just because someone talks softly and they say loving things, they also can be very deceptive, and that scares me sometimes. But John Gray is a part of Lakewood Church, but he speaks the truth. Also, Lakewood Church, so he's part of Joel Osteen thing. Joel Osteen overall seems like a loving guy. I don't know him obviously personally. You never know what's in a person's heart. But that's cool. It's Miss Kimberly. The bottom line is, if that person speaks to your soul, and if he adds value to your life, and he inspires you to be a better person, God bless, man. Do you. And that's all I always say too with music. When you listen to country, rap, R&B, classical, whatever thing that speaks to your soul, that's all that counts. You know what I mean? And it's different for everybody, and that's what we got to understand. Like everybody, there's different things talk to different people. So that's real life. So let's see as we close this. Yeah, I just got done. I had some salad and stuff. I think I may have one more. I don't know if I have a Starbucks before. I usually have one coffee at night. I know you shouldn't drink coffee at night, but I'm being honest with you. Sometimes I don't go to Lakewood when Joel is there because he doesn't speak to me. Yeah, Joel speaks to a lot of people. He doesn't speak to me either personally, but I respect that. It seems like he's a positive guy. So yeah, Houston. Yeah, you're right by that. I guess obviously you live in Houston. I mean, that's a huge. I think that's the biggest church. I don't know in the world, but definitely in the country. I think as far as like membership and things like that. So um, that's good. Like sometimes I would get upset, like people I know, like they do bad shit, and they say, "Oh, I listen to Joel Osteen." I'm like, "Yeah, you listen to Joel Osteen, but you still living crazy." I don't know. But, who am I to judge? I mean, we all still live a little bit crazy. So I don't, again, I always try, when I start to focus on somebody else too much, I say, all right, let me just focus on myself and not get caught in that whole thing. And that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. I can't listen. Yeah, it's tough for me to listen to Joel too. Again, I respect him, just like I respect Bob Wells. But I can't, and I tried to make another video just say, yeah, Bob Wells is the right guy, but I can't watch that. It just doesn't do it for me. But that being said, like I know some people, like they'll watch Joel Osteen, they get inspired. They watch Bob Wells, they get inspired. So again, we're all different. I think that's what we go back to. I think too, that's what we kind of hit on tonight too in our freestyle session, is that we're all a little bit different. And what works for one person doesn't work for the other person, and that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all part of that, what makes the world go round. I mean, if everybody lived out in their car, I don't know if it's like, we're all a little different, but we're all, that's what makes the world go round, and that's good. That's a good thing. But it's beautiful. So it's Miss Kimberly. You get some great stuff, man. Football boots review, trend news, moon dancer. Everybody has some good comments. Yeah, to each its own, man. Gotta let people be themselves, man, and respect each other, and just like, let it flow, man. That's a beautiful part of life, man. There's no doubt about that, man. A controlling relationship? Bad news. My mom wrote, she let me actually read it. She's still alive. But this is one thing that changed my life and really made me have a tremendous amount of respect for my mom. My mom gave me part of her will, like to, have, like if she passed away. And one of the, like she, wrote a note to her children, like to be read if she passes. And one thing that sticks out in my mind almost every day of my life, I think about it. And she said, "Dear children," she goes, "don't ever let anyone control you." And that's, one of her final things that she wants us to know about our life. Of course, she got divorced from my father, and that was a little bit of a controlling relationship. I think that's a powerful, powerful message. Don't let anyone control you. And don't look at someone controlling you as like, I rule you. Emotional manipulation can be a very subtle, soft-spoken control. And just because someone talks nice and they talk calm like I'm talking now, does not mean they're not giving you a guilt trip or they're not emotionally manipulating you. And so, we talk about tone matters and everything, but you also have to look beyond the tone. Because there's plenty of people that talk calmly, but they control you, and you got to be careful. And I thought that was a powerful thing my mom shared with me. Very powerful. It's about having a God-like spirit. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people are saved but are ugly heart. Yeah, I witnessed that when I got into the church life. And again, I respect and love to all the people that helped me in my spiritual journey. Christ Church, which was a non-denominational church, actually a female pastor and her husband pastor. And of course, I was brought up in the Catholic Church, and I just seeked for something different. Not something different, but I just felt there was just a lot of tradition there, and I wasn't getting enough spiritual food. I needed some more. I wanted to know more about the Bible. So I went out to a non-denominational church, and great people I met. But then I also got a little bit disillusioned, because there's some ugliness there too. And but as I mature, I try to calm myself and say, Sam, look, they also gave you a lot of beautiful things, and they taught you a lot. So I don't want to be harsh to them. Sometimes I get a little upset because, when you let somebody be your spiritual mentor, it's like a spiritual level of intimacy. And then when you get disillusioned, like you almost feel like spiritually molested. And that can lead to a lot of resentment. And that's turned a lot of people away from the Lord. That's good, yeah. But you have to be mindful of always taking accountability for your own life. And nobody can lead you astray unless you choose to be. There's something inside all of us that knows bullshit when we hear it. Okay? And you have to be willing to walk away when you hear bullshit. That's bottom line. All right? I don't care if it's your pastor. I don't care if it's your lover. I don't care if it's your parent. Okay? When you hear bullshit, it's time to walk away. All right? So make a mental note of that. But that being said, man, I feel positive. I feel blessed. I feel very thankful. Once in a while, I get like dislikes and I get negative comments, but 90% have been very positive on YouTube, and that's been encouraging to me, and I've been very thankful for that. And it's helping me grow. It's helping me grow. There's no doubt about it. And so it's very cool. Very scary putting yourself out there, but I want to share with you again that, in your journey, whatever it is for you, whether it's like it's Miss Kimberly starting a business or Moon Dancer or whatever one of my friends here on YouTube, whatever your journey is. I know Moon Dancer, has some issues, always share with me, about the family members and stuff. But anytime you're really going to fulfill your destiny, you gotta be willing to step out there and get criticized. Okay? There's no way you can be creative. There's no way you can be you without being criticized. And if you're afraid of criticism, if you're afraid of some dislikes or some negative comments, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You have to build yourself up. You have to be prepared that's what it takes. That's part of the price you pay for being yourself. That's part of the price you pay for improving on yourself. Is that change, when you start to grow, people get uncomfortable with that, or people just disagree with you. And the only way to grow is to put yourself out there. That's it, bottom line. You want to, when you speak the truth a lot of people won't like what you say. That's true. Especially when you are speaking about something that connects with them. That's true. That's true. And I understand that though too. And I accept that. Sometimes I don't want to, it's true. That's true. The truth can hurt because nobody, everybody's facing some type of battle, myself included. And so sometimes when we hear words that just either we disagree with, or that, even if it's blunt truth, there's too much pain involved that people just turn away. So, we just got to be ourselves and be respectful, and then that's it. Let the chips fall where they may. But I understand. I understand why people don't want to hear truth, and I understand the power that truth has, and how it can set you free if you embrace it. But it's all a matter of what you like, and who you are, and who God puts in your path. So no one answer. I don't want to start to give you a bunch of hot air. But that's true, Miss Kimberly. That's true. But be yourself always, and be willing to be criticized, and be willing also, though, to realize that if when you criticize others, how it feels when you're criticized. So that's kind of true, the value. Let them all kick rocks. Yes, JP Mullen, like right now I'm being calm because what is it, 6:30 at night, JPM? I love GPM Lawn Care. But that if I get pissed off enough, there's going to be a video about talking about kick rocks. That's true. That's true. That's true. But I don't want to hurt nobody. I want all positivity and love. I do. But once in a while, you got to get in that mental space where you're like, you know what? I've been very nice. I've been very compassionate. I've tried to hear everyone out, and I've tried to be very fair. And if after that, you can't like that, then that's why Trump gets elected. That's what happens. How much can you take? You try to be fair and then you still got to get pissed. It's a shame. It's a shame. But that's the counterbalance of life, is that you have to be mindful to balance yourself. Because if you're always lovey-dovey and extra, I understand, extra this, the tail wags the dog. Now, if you're always rah, 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 you miss out on the beauty of compassion and the purpose of, and life is based on, compassion and love are foundations of a healthy life and being a healthy person and being a productive person. But you need that balance. And that's why I don't really connect with Joel, because I don't want him to be anybody else. That's who he is. I don't want to judge him. I don't want to judge Trump. I'm speaking what I agree, what I disagree. But for me, and that's what I get. I try to be extra loving. I try to be extra caring. I try to be extra fair. And then when somebody still fucking gives me shit, then I say kick rocks. Because what the fuck else do you want? I don't know what else I can do to make this person happy. I'm not gonna kill myself. I don't know what these people want. So, you get to that point too in life. If we're being, everybody gets to that point. So, that's the part of life we all deal with, and we all understand that, and because we're all human, and we all have those emotions. And if we don't honestly, that's part of life. And you're constantly fighting that, because finding the balance in between that is not easy. And that's why too I love a simplified life. I love living on my car, because as you have less other shit to worry about, you're able to be more in tune with your balance. When you have the burdens of your mortgage, of a 1,000 square foot plus house, when you have a car, when you have work problems, you have everything else, you can't balance yourself. And then you're going to be an extra asshole, or you're going to be extra nice because you can't deal with anybody else giving you criticism, and no good. So it's that balance that we seek, and balance is different for everyone. Because again, some people look at me living out of a car. They say that's not balance, that's extreme. It's relative to who you are and to what you want. Yeah, excuse me, guys. I got kicked off again because the connection just gets bad. I think when I stream that long, the bandwidth, just jumps in and out, and that's how that rocks. But excuse me with that. I know it's a little frustrating, but all good comments, all good things, and we have to keep pushing forward. It's not easy. I know a lot of people, struggling with a lot of things because I know how life is, just regular life, day in, day out, and but we go forward. We have to stay positive. We have to be thankful. You have to find something to be thankful for. Now, when you're going through physical problems and, life problems, it's hard. It's hard. But I know one person in my life, I don't want to say their name because I don't want to get too crazy. Every time I see them, they're so unthankful. And no matter what you do, it's a no-win situation. I mean, the unthankful, I say it too many times, but I'll say it one more time and then I'm going to go on a different subject. The unthankful person, walk away. Nothing you can do. You can't convince them to be thankful. And you can give them $1 million and you can do everything they want you to do, and they're still not going to be happy. They're going to find something else to complain about. Thankfulness is part of a healthy mind. And an unthankful person has a very unhealthy mind, and they're very destructive, and they're very hurtful, and they'll hurt you. They'll hurt your spirit, and they'll hurt your inspiration. And that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Good stuff, though, man. Good stuff. I'm just going to breathe it out. And where are we at? Time check, 6:30. I'll let it rock for another 15 minutes, if that. And then we'll go from there. What else is going on tonight? What's going on in South Carolina? What's going on in Houston? What are you guys doing? Tell me about your lives. Anybody else? Who's selling their house? Who's going to live out of their car? Nobody? All right. We go from there. But don't stretch yourself too thin. As the weather got cold tonight. Did it get cold in Houston? Miss Kimberly, what's the weather like down there? I love it. Yeah, I like when it gets a little cold. Like getting a little cold and snuggling up in my blanket and putting on my scarf and stuff. I enjoy that. Here too. Yeah, South Carolina and Houston. What's the temperature? What do you guys look? Let me turn my temperature thing on. I'll tell you what is New Jersey right now. 47 degrees in New Jersey. North New Jersey. 47 degrees, 6:30 p.m. And we got somebody in Houston. We have somebody in the UK. Finally, 50-something. Haha. Yeah, because Houston gets very hot and muggy. So for you guys, like, you know what I mean? That winter weather, gives a good balance. And that's what we talk about with balance, right? Like, it's my Sam Angel Rivera. Just want to thanks for all your... Thank you, Angel, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Angel Rivera. Thank you for appreciating me, man. That means a lot to me. And I need to hear that once in a while. I'll be lying to you if I say that once in a while I don't need to feel encouraged, because, like I said, you put yourself out there. A lot of people hate on you. It's true. No matter. So thank you, Angel. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. But yeah, see, we talk about balance, right? Like, so you guys know, like, people follow me. Hey, man, thank you, Moon Dancer. Love and respect to you too, Moon Dancer. I love you. Is that, like, I talk about Florida all the time. I know some people that live in Florida, and sometimes when I go down there, I visit them. I'll be down in Florida in a few weeks. Is that people who live there all year round, it's the endless summer, brother. I just walked away from renewing my lease. Angel, God bless you, brother. It's scary, and you're going to go through some ups and downs, but a simplified life is a blessed life. I truly believe that. Less is truly more. Now, you're going to have to define it for you. Again, it may not be living out of a Jeep Renegade. It may not be living out of a car, or it may be. But I want you to have the freedom to do you. But what I want to encourage you, I truly believe that for everybody it's a little bit different, but living a simplified life is a blessing. I truly believe that. Everyone hit the like button before you leave. Well, I appreciate the like button, but I don't want anybody to have to hit that, because I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I want to tell you what to do. But thank you, Moon Dancer. But Angel, what I'll tell you, brother, is just that, or female, Angel could be two different names, or two different type of, but either way, is that simplified life is a blessed life, and you are on the right track, in my opinion. I think you're going to increase your quality of life. So thank you for sharing. Um, I used to live in Washington State. Oh, okay, so Northwest for 4 years in Maryland. Yeah, I spent a lot of time. I used to date a girl in Maryland for 3 years. Now I've adjusted to the cold weather. Yeah, I used to date a girl from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Well, I didn't really date her. I'm not gonna lie, but when I was young, we had a lot of friends in Upper Marlboro, Maryland area. Great people, a great area, um, cool area. It really got built up. Maryland and Virginia, the economy is booming. Um, Especially in the IT field. Believe it or not, there's a lot of IT work right now in just the whole area. In Maryland, Virginia, the whole DC surrounding area, it's huge economy. I mean, overall, the economy is doing great worldwide. But back to balance, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people who live full time in Florida, or like it's Miss Kimberly, full time in Houston, like, it's like an endless summer. So like when you get a little bit of winter weather or cool weather, like around 50 degrees, that balance adds to a relief in life. And that's what we talk about, a healthy mind. There's a level of balance you need in life. I'm only part-time in a car right now. Well, part-time's the start. JPM Lawn Care, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of car are you part-timing out of? Minivan, cargo van, or a regular car? I'm curious. We had a viewer last night, just before dawn, love and respect to him. He was from Georgia. He was just started full-timing out of a minivan. I don't know what type, but a minivan will get you right. You do a minivan, you have no problem living comfortably, in my opinion. I think if for a female, you would need maybe a minivan because you want to squat to pee. I made a video about that. But that balance, right? Yeah, when I get that cold weather, at least, it's good to snuggle up and put sweatpants on. And it adds to a relief of the mind. What made you do that, JPM Lawn? Yeah, JPM Lawn Care. What made you start to consider living a mobile? Jeep Cherokee. Rock on the Jeeps. Yeah, Jeep. There's a Jeep family. There's a connection when you see other people who own Jeeps. I can't explain it. But there is a connection out there. My first Jeep was a Jeep Compass, and everybody, like, then from then on that I met with a Jeep, there's some type of like unspoken bond. I can't explain it. It sounds a little corny, but it's true. Jeep Patriot, Moon Dancer got a Patriot. Yeah, Patriot's a good car. My sister had a Patriot. Yeah, the Jeeps are special. They're like almost like a Jeep is almost branded as a nomad brand, okay, and like there's something about that's like magical, and that's what the Jeep Renegade, when I saw it, was like a little beachy Wrangler car, and that's magical. That's magical. I used to want a Jeep in the 90s. Yeah, Jeeps were hot in the 90s. They were like almost a luxury car. The Jeep Wranglers. The work commute is killing me. Yeah, I remember JPM Lawn Care said that. Yeah, that work commute, and if you can, when you live full time out of your car, what you do is you eliminate rush hour. The rest of your life, it's gone. Because what are you rushing to? Your home is everywhere you go. And I think that's another plus, man. That's the other thing, too, about just living fully nomadic, as far as fully in your car, RV. Because of R. Kelly. Yeah, R. Kelly had you remind me of my Jeep. I want to wax you. A lot of good songs. That was one of his best albums, in my opinion. I Love You, Sweet Sadie. The album before that was hot. Half on a Baby, one of my favorites. And then after TP2 went downhill. TP2 was the last banger. After that, downhill. Okay. I hate to say it, but I think the molester hurt. I mean, really bad. I don't know if some type of karma caught up to him or what. But that, everybody has demons. But yeah, that was bad news after that. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, R. Kelly was the king of R&B, but then bad news. It's a shame though. I don't mean to mock. I'm not mocking anybody, because it's only by the grace of God, any of us. But yeah. And I mean, that's amazing too. Like, you see like a R. Kelly, or you see like a Kardashian, like Rob Kardashian, or whoever, right? I'm just giving examples, but you can, some people think, give me money, fame, and good looks, and I'll be happy. But people that are famous, people that have money, people that look amazing, they still get divorced. They still overdose on drugs. They still self-medicate. So is the answer really just money, fame, and looks? No. Money helps. You want to look good. And fame, if you can control it, can be positive. But like I'm trying to tell you too, like, it's not just about, I started this video saying don't stretch yourself too thin. It's not just about minimizing your expenses and living simple. That's a major step. But part of it is also taking care of yourself and not stretching yourself too thin. Learning to say no to obligations, learning to say no to unhealthy environments that don't put you in a good space. Like if you know, like you're still trying to get your health together, you don't need to say yes to going out to Chipotle on a Friday, or going out to Joe's Crab Shack, or going out to, you know what I mean, wherever. You know, you got to say no, because you can't be around that unhealthy food. You know, and so, because it's not just about cutting your monthly expenses. It's about you want to live a better quality life. A lot of people with a lot of money are depressed. That's true. I was about it all the time. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And a lot of people with money are happy too. So it's a balance. I don't want to lie to you. But living simply and living a content life, it takes away that lust for the endless more. You're always going to want more. I don't want to lie to you. But I think as you learn to live with less, that's what's helped me, is that there's a higher level of being content. And you realize that you don't need to be on this rat race to get more and acquire more and end up with 2 storage units and a basement full of shit and an attic filled of inheritance collectibles. Less is more. And when you come to that point and you find contentment, that's godliness. I mean, there's a level of godliness to that. Contentment, no doubt. To being content and not always being thirsty for more, the endless cycle, that's wisdom. And that's peace. Do you watch Camper Van Kevin? JPM Lawn Care. No, I don't. The only time I watched Camper Van Kevin was when I was watching Nomadic Fanatic, and I heard about it all the time. No, I hear you, Miss Kimberly. I hear you. The only time I watched Camper Van Kevin was when Nomadic Fanatic was in his early days, and Camper Van Kevin gave him that van in Georgia to travel around. He gave him that black van because his first RV broke down, and that's when I first heard about Camper Van Kevin. I watched a couple videos of him, but he wasn't for me. Am I against anybody? I'm not against anybody. So I really don't know him that well. Just like I don't know Nomadic Fanatic, but he never inspired me personally. Does he inspire you? Yeah. So yeah, there's some different people on YouTube that's what they do. I like his home base deal. What's his home base deal? I know he's got. Is it still in Georgia? The last thing I saw with him was he had like some type of tracker, like a small geo tracker. Remember the geo trackers? And I don't know if he had a Class C or he had something he would tow that around, and then he would use the tracker as like his automobile to drive around. But I don't know his home base setup. I don't know if he has a good one or not. But see, he wasn't taking care of his health, B. Like, I remember watching an episode with him, and his back was all messed up, and he was driving a Geo Tracker, and he was eating unhealthy shit. I mean, I don't want to lead you astray. If you're going to live a simplified life and have a Jeep Tracker and a home base, but you're going to have back problems and not eat healthy, yeah, you've eliminated bills, but now you're not healthy. I mean, so I want you to be mindful that. Now, look, any of us can go through some bad times, or health-related or whatever. You can fall and crack your neck, God forbid. But what I want to share with you is my message. Yeah, he's still like that. And I'm not judging him, but I just want to encourage you that, my message is not just to live a simple life. My message is to be the best you. Mind, body, and soul. All of us are different. None of us are perfect. We all have our imperfections, myself included. But I don't want you to just live out of your Geo Tracker and live in a swampland for free and say, fuck it, I'm going to eat, McDonald's every night and not contribute to society. That's not my answer. That's not the answer. And I think if somebody tells you that, you're going to end up in that forest and you're going to resent them. Because after a few months, you're going to realize you're not fulfilled. Now, yeah, you have no bills, but now you have no purpose. One brother that was on here earlier talked about, what do you think the purpose of life is? I could tell you what I think it isn't. Living in the forest for nothing and just sitting there and waking up and going to sleep. That's not your purpose, in my opinion. I think God's place, or whatever you believe, I think you have more gifts to offer than that. Now, I don't believe you need to work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week to have a house that you shouldn't have. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? It's crazy. But, yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. I'm putting on my defrosters because I'm over here fogging up. Let's see what degrees it is. It's 642 in New Jersey, and it's 46 degrees, North New Jersey. That's what it is. This was very inspiring for me. And we met some great new people. JPM Lawn Care, Miss Kimberly, very solid. Moon Dancer, very solid. Appreciate them. And it's very cool. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. I know it's a little rude. But all is well. And we are in. I'm just glad to find someone on the East Coast. Yeah. Now we got Sam. Well, we got Sam. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now you never know when the Lord call me home. So like I said, if I'm doing my job, I just watched a video on what is your life's purpose, how to know in 5 minutes. Well, I don't know. Well, moon dancing. Well, in 5 minutes, can you find your life purpose? I don't know. But if that video inspires you, then God bless. That's what I say, moon dancer. But I'm always very suspicious of people who tell you like 10 rules, like on how to figure out your life, or 10, it was bullshit. Yeah, moon dancer, I knew it. That's what I was getting to. I was trying to be nice, laugh out loud. Yeah. If somebody has to tell you in 5 minutes the purpose of life, they're leading you astray. And after that, it's going to be a donation. Or after that, it's going to be a thing that says subscribe here. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't believe in that shit. Yeah, like I said, if I'm doing my job, if any person that is really trying to be inspirational is doing their job, it does not say, oh, we need Sammy. You don't need me. However long God keeps me on YouTube or whatever, God bless. But, you just need yourself. And, you're going to be the East Coast, darling of South Carolina or whatever. And I want you to go on and do whatever you want. Do your YouTube channel, or, have your own lawn care business or whatever. Like, I want people to do them. I don't want people to be on the hook to me. Like, they got to wait for me to, I want to connect with them. I want to stay connected with you guys. But I don't want to, my job is not to say, look, you need me. My job is to say, no, you need yourself, build yourself up, mind, body, and soul, and do you. But don't be disillusioned by the people that say simplifying your life as far as living out of a car, living in a tiny home is going to solve all your problems. No, it won't. And if you're going with that outlook, you're going to be very disillusioned. You think you were disillusioned when the pastor got you to get baptized and everything else, and then you realized it was a big donation scheme? Wait till you get in the middle of a forest living out of a geo tracker, and you're sitting next to Camper Van Kevin, and he tries to molest you. God forbid. Not that I hope that happens. But what I'm trying to say is, be careful, man. Think for yourself, okay? And living out of your car, living a simplified life is again, a small aspect of what I'm trying to share with you. Getting your spiritual life in order, getting your physical health in order, getting your emotional health in order. Lawn care is a summer side hustle. Hey, I'm not mad at that. Yeah, well, that's one thing I was going to make it too laugh out loud is, if you have 2 jobs, you're overstretching yourself. This whole video started with overstretching yourself, because I believe in mind, body, and soul. And if you have to, and I worked 3 jobs at one time. And you know why? Because I was supporting a lifestyle that was living above my means. If you have 2 jobs, you have too much. That's the bottom line. I'm going to do a whole video on that. If you have 2 jobs, you have too much. You shouldn't need 2 jobs to survive. If you're living a simple life. Now, there's going to be exceptions. I worked 3 jobs at one time. If you have a family, if you have certain obligations, until you can get out of those obligations, you got to do what you got to do. Wow. It's Miss Kimberly. I'm preaching now. I'm getting fired up myself. Oh, yeah, you got to live a simple life, man. I mean, you can't stretch yourself too thin. I know people working 2 jobs and now they're not a parent. Or now they're not a good worker to one job because they're thinking about the other job. And now, they're in an unhealthy relationship because they need any type of high. And now at lunchtime, they're going to Smashburger because you got to feel some happiness. You're working 2 jobs. You need some type of, self-gratification. You better say that shit. I'm in the zone. But, only 5 people in the room, but I'm feeling good. Oh, it's positive. But, yeah. I mean, a lawn care business, too, if you did hi from Texas, Holiday Dreams. Love and respect to you. I like the sunglasses. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Texas is strong tonight. We got It's Miss Kimberly from Houston. What part of Texas are you from? Texas is strong. Texas is a big state. Beautiful state. I've never been to Texas. I'm still going to get down there. I know some people that work in Texas, but I've never been there personally. One person that I met, that's right, the girl can rock a pair of heels 9 to 5 and cut some grass. I'm not mad at that, JP Long. It's a big country, San Antonio. Love and respect. Yeah, that's a different part. Love and respect to San Antonio, to you. Thank you. Yeah, JPM Lumbercare, you can do both. You can wear your heels, be very feminine or whatever, and you can also, push a lawnmower. You can do whatever is inside you. And you can define your own life. You don't need society. You don't need me. But like I said, just be mindful that you don't stretch yourself too thin. Because, now I don't know your situation if you have, I know you do have a son, because I remember we were talking about that at one time. So, having a kid is a big responsibility, and, obviously it comes with a certain amount of financial. I know we were talking about healthy boundaries, because I think there was some type of, he was renting or something. Everybody's different, though. I mean, I try to avoid, I've been sometimes in family and business transactions, never ended positive. sound good initially, but and then to get out of them things is horrible. To get out of family and business transactions, oh, it's like uprooting your soul. And there's no way you get out of that thing without severe damage to the relationship. It's tough, very tough, very tough. But that's okay. It's all part of the journey. And that's only my journey, right? Because some people I meet, they say, Sam, I have a great family business dynamic, and I have a great, I would never do that. Yeah, I mean, that's just me personally. I hear you, Miss Kimberly. But like I said, I want to be fair too. I don't want to be one-sided. I do know people that have thriving family businesses, and that works for them. So I always go back to be you, right? So I don't have, I'm certainly not here to tell anybody how to live their life. And you know you better than me. You know what works for you, and you got to do you. Whether it's, family member, friends. You're so right, Sam. It's a lot of work. I know it is, sweetheart. Not sure I'll do it next year. Yeah. And I'm sure that there's something that God's putting inside your spirit that, you're doing part-time living out of your Cherokee, I believe it was, Jeep Cherokee. Something inside you wants a little bit less. You don't want to stretch yourself out so thin. And yeah, I do know my family. I mean, I grew up with, my sister, like I said, addicted to drugs. But I want to be fair, she also gave me some beautiful times. Like, I remember my sister really helping me and doing some great things for me. So I don't want to be harsh on my sister, but she struggled with drugs. And my one sister was a stripper, and then she never ended up getting a job. She lives with my mom. But she also showed me some beautiful things. And then my father, he could be a very emotionally manipulative. And I never, kept up a relationship with him. And my mother's a great woman. But, everybody has their ways. So I try to love people as best I can, but I also have come to a place on my journey where I'm mature enough not to stretch myself too thin. And I know when I have to say no. I know when I have to say, look, I have to step away from this situation, because if I stay in this situation, not only is it not going to help you, I'm going to end up in a bad zone mentally and physically and everything. And that's tough to tell people no when you're a loving person, when you have compassion in your heart. But you have to learn to have healthy boundaries. Very important in life, because we want to live a good quality life. We don't want to just live cheap. That's why too, like, I don't just co-sign Bob Wells and all that, because like their message is okay, and I realize like they're just speaking from one aspect, but their whole thing is like just live cheap. But living cheap it's only one part of the equation. You also have to, live a healthy mind, body, and soul. And that's why I get concerned when that guy's out there got everybody going to Arizona just to talk about living out of their car, and they're going to talk about like, how do you like, do a tent camp, and how do you do a fire, and how do you get a PO box. But I wonder if they're going to talk about, how do you healthy mind, body, and soul. Are you in an emotionally manipulative relationship? You got to take care of all the aspects of life. You can't just, financial is the one aspect, but emotional health is the aspect. Question: how do you become so knowledgeable in all your philosophy? I read Tony Robbins. I'm not a big fan of Tony Robbins. I got to be honest. Joe Rogan, not a fan of him. Larry Winch, I got to look him up. I know you mentioned him before, but you're right up there. Well, one is, thank you, Moon Dancer. Thankful. I have done a lot of research. God's blessed me with a certain level, and sometimes I'm not always right. So always, think for yourself. Some things I say may not be correct. Certainly don't want to be prideful in that. But, various research, travel, I think growing up in diverse situations, seeing different aspects of life, and not being narrow-minded has tremendously helped me to be thoughtful. And then also having passion, because you have to be thoughtful, and then you also have to have a level of passion. Okay, so it's like you don't want to be just a professor. You want to be motivational, and you want to balance those two. It's a combination. But these different people, they all have a different aspect of it. So it's wild. But it's a good thing. We're okay. We're blessed. We're doing good. It's Wednesday evening. We're halfway through the week. If people out there are working, I know I am. So for me, I work while I'm on site. I work, I'm always like on call remotely. But I'm on site, at least Wednesday through Friday or Wednesday through Saturday. So I have to be in that New York area. And then I don't know what I'll do after Saturday this week. Like I said, in a couple weeks, I'm really looking forward to going down to Florida. I like Central Florida, East Coast. That really inspires me. I've been to Miami and stuff, but Miami's straight party town. And when I went to Miami, it was for a bachelor party. And I'm past that point in my life. I don't want to party. I don't want to show off. That's what Miami is. Miami's a party, show-off town. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not where I'm at in my journey. And so I like to be a little bit like, by like just like local beach towns that are just like chill, and there's not a lot going on. because I've always been a little bit laid back. I'm really not a big party goer, especially at this point in my life as I get older. I like it peaceful, but I like the ocean. Some people being around hills and being around the mountains, that inspires them, and I respect that. And they like to be around country land. Country land is beautiful. I respect that. I'm an ocean guy. I like to be around the ocean. Something about that salt water smell, something about the air, you know what I mean? The energy that I get, from being by the ocean, just magical to me. And I really enjoy that. It inspires me, keeps me alive, it keeps me encouraged. Because you got to find things that encourage you. I mean, you're going to get bored. Getting bored with life is a very real thing. And people get bored with life. And when you get bored with life, you know what comes next? Destructive behavior. Because you gotta entertain yourself. And that's not good. You got to find positive, productive things that you can engage in that are healthy for you. If not, like you're going to end up like me. Like, well, with regards to fool, we got a good emoji face. Just before Dawn's in the house, I didn't realize I could use live chat from my phone. Google must have just added, thank you. You're on the live stream just before Dawn. We know love and respect to Georgia. And I believe it's 2 or 3 days living full-time out of his minivan. I don't know what type of minivan. Just before Dawn, what type of minivan are you in? If you want to share. We had JPM Lawn Care was sharing with us that she's part-timing right now in her Jeep Cherokee. Moon Dancer, I don't think I think she has a house, but I know she was sharing she had a Jeep Patriot. And it's Miss Kimberly. I think she's an apartment. She's an apartment. So I think right now on the live stream, it's just me and you full-timing. And everybody else just on their own journey. And love and respect that. Oh, and then we had the viewer from Texas. Toyota Sienna. I'm not familiar with that one. That's interesting. I have to Google that once I get off the live stream. Yeah, any minivan, though, like we were talking about, any minivan will get you right. You got plenty of room in that. How's it going? I know you say you were still adjusting. You're still going to adjust. It's only a few days. Phew. The first few weeks, I was still like scared out of my mind. Still trying to figure out where to go. It took me several weeks to get situated. So you got, just be patient with yourself is my advice. And it's going to evolve. It'll evolve over time. And that's okay. You give yourself... You're not in a rush, brother. You're in no rush. And if anyone is interested, listen to Larry Winget. Yeah, I'm going to check him out on tape instead of reading books. A good one, Shut Up, Stop Whining, and Get a Life. Okay. Damn, he came at it strong. I live near mountains. Okay. But I love that salt smell. Yeah, I love that salt smell too. Spent a lot of time vacation at Myrtle Beach. Yeah, Myrtle Beach, very popular. Sorry, brother, at work. No worries, Angel. Do your thing, man. I don't want to control you. You come and go as you wish. What I'm about is freedom. I want you guys to feel free to come and go. And it's love and respect. And I appreciate you joining for however many times you join. And love and respect to you, brother. Love and respect. I reorganized my van, giving myself more room. Good. And I'm feeling less anxious. Good, brother. Good. And each day passing. Each day you're going to get stronger. And then just know you'll get stronger and stronger. And then you'll have one day that's a little bit awkward. But you're going to keep getting stronger as time goes on. So keep going, brother. Simple life is a blessed life, in my opinion. And take care of your mind, body, and soul as well. I want a Toyota Sienna. So see, Moon Dancer wants one of those. So you're living her dream. Moon Dancer may be right behind you. And now what I was thinking about, what I wanted to share with you, so yes, I made the change. Keep up the inspiration. Thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. Love and respect. Thank you very much. And you keep being you. Just before Dawn, I was thinking about you, and as I get ready to take my yearly trip down to Florida, is that you have to be mindful, because I know you were debating about leaving Georgia and then going to full-time down to Florida. Just be mindful that Florida isn't as nomad-friendly in one aspect. Now, the Walmarts in Florida have city ordinances, basically city rules local to that municipality that they don't allow overnight camping at Walmarts for the most part. So if you're going to boondock or basically park for free somewhere in Florida, you're going to have to go to a state park if you're going to do it legally, or you got to stealth camp, or you're going to have to go to a rest stop. I did the rest stops a few times when I was down there. Cops do patrol them. Never gave me a problem. I always park legally for the most part. Well, I did park legally. And so there's a certain amount of hours you're allowed to be there. Excuse me. And but just be mindful of that. If you're the type of person that goes to Walmarts. I don't do Walmarts that often. So maybe you have a family member that lets you park in their driveway. I do that sometimes. Or whatever. Everybody has their own way, so I can't tell you. But just be mindful of that. Because Florida, I think they do that for a reason, because Florida has that year-round tropical climate. So, you get a lot of people, living a nomadic life down there. Even Nomadic Fanatic, he's down there now. I know. I think he came up to Georgia. That's his last episode because it was getting too hot down there, or it wasn't cool enough yet. But yeah, a lot of people go down there for the weather because when you're living out of your car, a lot of people are scared of the cold and they want to be with the weather. And I understand that, but I'm okay. I said it's been a week already and it's a little tough, but it's worth it. Yeah, it is worth it, Angel. I really do. I mean, again, everybody has to decide for themselves. I don't want to lead anybody astray, but in my opinion, I don't feel safe at Walmart. And I can understand that, JPM Lawn Care. You got to be careful. I always try to park next to, if I do something like that, next to a big rig somewhere close to them and buy pole lighting. So every Walmart's different, so you have to get a feel for that and you have to trust your instincts. You know, just like rest stops. There's some rest stops that are very secluded and some rest stops that are very lit up and like, you know what I mean, they have a gas station that's open 24/7. See, I like those. You know, if you have a rest stop that has a gas station that's 24/7, you want to be around that. I live at Lowe's. I live at Love's or Pilots or Flying J's. Yeah, no, I hear that. I finally see my money. Thank God. Yeah, Angel, that's the... you know, I don't think you ever going to regret simplifying your life, Angel. Or anybody for that matter. If anything, like I said, I want to be fair to you. I don't want to lead anyone astray. You may say at some part of the journey, you know, you're going to want a home base or you're going to want, you know, a bigger car or you're going to want whatever. But I don't think, for most people, it's different for everyone. I don't think you're ever going to regret simplifying your life. I don't. I think once you realize the freedom and the less aggravation and the increased mental health and the increased quality of life, I don't think you're going to want to turn back. Now, certainly if you have a vision of raising a family and having a bunch of dogs and stuff like that, then, you know, you have a different vision for life. But if you've done that, one, like I did to a certain extent, or if that's not for you, simple's better, man. You're not going to regret living a simplified life. And like I know JPM Lawn Care, like I know you already have a kid and stuff, so I'm sure you've been through that journey. You're probably, you know, having a kid and everything, I mean, you never stop worrying. I understand a parent's heart. I mean, you want a little bit less worry in your life. I could respect that. And if you have a side business, I had a side business. How much can you take? How much could I take? I couldn't take anymore. I wanted a simple life. I wanted less to worry about. And I respect that. And I understand that. And that's why I think it's wisdom. Let me catch up on a comment here. Kids are all grown. That's why I believe in the freedom. I agree with that, Angel. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Also, Crackle Barrels allow overnight. That's a good suggestion, Moon Dancer. See, Crackle Barrels, I think they're further south because I know here in the New York area, I don't see any Crackle. I love truck stops. Yeah, I like truck stops too. I failed at truck driving, but it got me interested in living out of my vehicle. Yeah, so everything serves a purpose. See, that's the key. And yeah, Moon Dancer, you said we don't have too many Crackle Barrels up here. That must be more southern. I'm not sure. I forgot which state you're from. But yeah, we'd have to go south to see them. But that's a good suggestion. I didn't know Crackle Barrels allow overnight parking. Good suggestion. Good feedback. Excuse me. I love the truck stop. 43. Have a teenager. 43. Very young. God bless you. Have a teenager, but not with my mom. Okay. And it wasn't hard for you to leave your side business. It's Miss Kimberly. If you're asking me, no. Excuse me. I apologize. I know that's rude, but I need to blow my nose. No. It wasn't because I wasn't fully passionate about my side business. That's one. Two is I didn't like the inconsistency, and I did it while I had a full-time job. I started a business while I had a full-time job, and you can't do both you can only do both for so long. I shared that with you. You'll resent one and hate the other. And I wasn't willing. I had a mortgage at that time. I wasn't willing to risk my house based on if I can make my own business work. And that's what it takes eventually to really see if you can grow your business. Now, that's what I tell you, that if you're going to live a simplified life, whether it's out of your car or living a very, simple life, the freedom you have is you can start a side business and you don't need to make much. You only need to make a few $100s a week to be self-sustainable. But when you're like me, I mean, I had a mortgage and expenses. My mortgage and utility expenses and taxes and everything, just for that, not including food, was $2,500 a month. For my mortgage, for my taxes, and for my utilities. That does not include food, car payments, etc. So, I needed basically $4,000 a month to sustain my lifestyle. And to just start a business and to clear $4,000 a month and to have full benefits and retirement, that's very hard. So, I think if you simplify your life, then I I don't know. I wasn't that passionate about my business, but if you live a simplified life, then you may not be so, you may not quit, you know what I mean, trying your business. So, you know, you would have a better chance of success in starting your own business because you have less financial pressure. The more pressure you put on your brain, the more you're going to fail because you can only take so much. It goes back to my original message I started this video. You can't stretch yourself too thin. If you stretch yourself too thin, you're not going to be happy, even if you're doing what you love, because you can only take so much. We all can only take so much. And you have to be very mindful of that. Very mindful. Okay, I got to rewind here some of the messages. Okay, so JPM Law, I've done the family thing. Yeah, I hear that. Looking forward to simplifying my life. I can understand that. Sam, I have 3 boys. God bless you. My mom had 3 kids. Pretty much raised them by myself. God bless you. I respect a single mother. My mother was too. So I understand you, JP Morgan. I mean JP M Lawn Care. Is that you've given so much of your soul to give birth to 3 children and to raise 3 children, and if you did it mainly by yourself, even with the help of others, even if you did, that's a huge tax on your soul. And there's a yearning for peace, for simplicity, because that's all that responsibility in addition to your house and everything else. It takes a toll, and you need to heal. There's some healing that needs to take place, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm not trying to lead you astray. I'm not trying to tell you to do anything reckless, but a simplified life, however you define it, will bring you healing. You define it for yourself, not Camper Van Kevin, not Sammy, not Inspirational Nomad, not Bob Wells. You define how you want to define it. So that way you don't resent anybody else. Because I'm sure, too, what I learned in life, the more responsibility you have, eventually what you end up doing is you resent people. You resent your kids, you resent your parents, you resent everybody. Because you put too much on your soul. And you need to heal. And so a simplified life will start the healing process. Now, you still will need to do the other work of taking care of your mind, body, soul, but you have to start the process of healing and building yourself back up so you can have the overflow blessing. Okay. So, Angel, heads up, when going stealth, buy all your blankets the same time, color interior. Yes, yeah, try to keep everything blacked out. I agree with that, Angel. Finally, I see extra 1,200 clean extra month. Yeah, that's right. I mean, when you finally work and you clear cash, $1,000 or plus or whatever, and you're able to just put that in a savings account or whatever you want to do with it. I mean, that makes work enjoyable. It makes life enjoyable. When you're working just to sustain your lifestyle, that takes a tax on your soul. And now, just be mindful, Angel. What I learned in life throughout my journey is that now when you're clearing cash, and you got to be careful that you don't spend it recklessly. Ultimately, do what you want. I'm not telling you how to live. But that's one thing I struggled with in the beginning, not in my nomad journey, but in my younger, immature days. When I was clearing a lot of cash, I was just spending it because I was like, well, it's always going to come in. Now, if you stay with a simplified life, I mean, you're only going to have so much obligation for the rest of your life. So it's not that you have to really, really worry, but just be mindful of that, because it also what will inspire you is knowing that you have a nest egg. Okay, that's inspiration. Knowing that you have a certain amount of money in the bank that if you get fired or if, God forbid, something happens, that's inspiration. So just be mindful of that, okay? I agree, brother. Amen. So you're a smart person. God bless you. You understand what I'm saying. And that's positive. That's good feedback, though. That's real good feedback. It's 7:06. Now, I'll do a little bit longer. I'm getting inspired. You guys doing good feedback. It's 44 degrees now in New Jersey, North New Jersey. Okay, because New Jersey's pretty big too. I mean, not too big, definitely not as big as Texas, or not even as big as South Carolina. Like I told you, how it took very long to drive through South Carolina. I still think about that. I'm getting a little bit sad when I get down to Florida this year. I gotta drive through South Carolina, North Carolina. That's a long ass drive, man. But it's worth it when I get down to the tropical climate. Great live video. Thank you, it's Miss Kimberly. I appreciate that. And it wouldn't be great without you guys. I mean, Miss Kimberly, you gave some great feedback. Angel, JPM Longcam, Moon Dancer, and all the other people, man, that joined. That's what makes live special. That's why I really want to try to do it every day. It inspires me. This connection is like, it's different than my videos. My videos, like, I have a certain thing that I want to communicate, and I just document my thoughts. The live video is like interaction. I'll start with a general topic, but I mean, we talked about so many different things in this video, and that's beautiful. That's organic. And it's magical. And I enjoy that. Hey, Sam, is Jersey Walmart okay for camping? Some of them are. I was talking to somebody about that today. They like to camp in parks, state parks, etc. That's what they like to do. They like to tent camp. They still own a home, but we were talking about that. Yeah, there's a lot of them in New Jersey that are you can do one night, or you can do an overnight parking without a problem. Of course, it all varies. There's some that aren't, but there are a lot, yes, that allow it. Yes. We're your worldwide family. We're all in the quest for freedom, Sammy, and I appreciate that. I do. And like I said too, I think for me, now I'm only speaking for me. I mean, I am single, and I have my mother. I thank God for my mother, and I have a few friends. I mean, I have a couple of great friends. I want to say that, but in life, you'll be blessed if you can have a couple great friends. Blessed, one or two max. I mean, it's not easy to find a good person, but me being a single person without a big family and I'm not a really. I mean, I have some friends, but not a lot of friends. This provides me a level of social interaction, and kind of like I said, the relationship that works for me. I'm not good like with a permanent fixed relationship. Just like the freedom, like we're connecting because we both love that freedom. Like I love that you have the freedom to jump in and out of this chat and I don't want to hold you or make you stay. And I love the freedom that like if I'm just not feeling it anymore, I hit finish. That's kind of like why I embrace social media for me. You know, because that's the type of person I am. I know me. I don't want to get in a relationship where you can't just press finish. You can't just, all right, I don't want to hear this guy talk anymore. I can leave the chat room. Like, when you're married and stuff like that, you don't have that option. And that's not freedom for me. But it's beautiful for some people, but not for me. I agree. Even when we talked about Trump, yeah, it was good conversation. We may not all agree, but we're having healthy discussion. That's right. We're healthy and respectful. That's right. Everyone chimed in tonight. That's right. And everybody's voice matters, and everyone is respected. And certainly, if I see something goes like out of control, I'm certainly not going to keep an environment like that. I mean, we're going to have healthy disagreements and healthy conversation. But I'm certain job of a leader, we're not going to have any type of thing where people are getting hurt and people are getting bashed. I don't believe in that. And there's nothing healthy comes from that. It's awesome. Like-minded people growing. Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what the type of people I want to surround myself with. I don't want, I'm okay with us, having debates. I don't want to be around hurtful, negative people. I want to be around people that, hey, look, we may have some disagreements and different perspectives, but we want positive forward growth. And that's what I want. That's what I want. Like I say, I don't want to control anybody. I want you guys to do you. You guys constantly hear me say that. I don't want to tell you all to go live out of a Jeep or whatever. I want you to define it for yourself. You may want to stay in an apartment. You may want to stay in the house. You may want to just chop it up with me, and I want you to do that. It's Miss Kimberly. Amen. Yeah, JPM Loan Care, give me some love. She knows what it is. And it's good stuff. It's real good stuff. I see people, man, as I look out my window. Like I said, I'm close right now to a highway. I'm not at my spot for the night, but I was just still of course, I'm in the north. I'm right by the city, so you see a lot of traffic. I mean, you'll see traffic all night. I mean, this place, it never stops. I mean, the city never sleeps. I'm not in the city, but right outside. I mean, so there'll be cars all night. But it's just the endless cycle of society. People rushing from one place to another, and it never ends. They rush after work. They want to hit the gym, or they want to hit the grocery store, and then they got to rush here. They got to rush there. You get home for a couple hours, and those couple hours are good. But then before you know it, you wake up and you got a couple hours on the road. You got to spend an hour getting ready, half hour getting ready, half hour on the road, hour on the road, and you're only really enjoying your house for a couple hours out of the day. But yet you're paying 80%, or somewhere between 50 to 80% of your income is going to your rent or a mortgage. It's a sad world out here. Everyone's a slave to bills. Somewhat they are. Just somewhat they are, you're right. But also, it's a beautiful world. I want to add balance. There's a lot of beauty in the world. We're blessed. We live in a good land, and we're blessed. I want to say that. And I want to say that, life is what you make it to some extent. And to some extent, that paying to sleep. Man, paying to sleep. Yeah, paying to sleep. You are. Yeah, having a house. I mean, that's what kind of woke me up. You're just paying for a place to lay your head. And that's to pay 50 to 80% of what you make after all your hard work, just to lay your head down somewhere. It's not inspiring to me. But a house is good for some people. That's right. And that's why I want to have balance. For some people, and even for a certain season of my life, a house is wisdom. Because especially if you have a family or if you want a pet, you do need that space. Let's be honest. I mean, I certainly would not recommend having a relationship and having a pet or a family member or kids and living in a car. Or even an RV. I would, be very careful. I mean, not to say you can maybe do an RV, but, I don't want to lead people astray. I mean, because if you're going to be in a multi-relationship thing, You could have several people in one dwelling. You need healthy boundaries, and you need different spaces. Now, I mean, obviously, I'd rather have one big land and everybody have their own car and go in their own. But that's not reality. That's not reality. Serious and sad part, we don't even enjoy it as much. No, that's true. Now, people don't enjoy life as much, and it goes back to my thing, Angel, which you're making a great point. People stretch themselves too thin. That's the title of this video. That's where we started. We got into a lot of different things, but people are not enjoying themselves because they're going from, and I've been there, so I have compassion. You go from one thing to the other thing to the other thing. You say yes to too many obligations. You're going to baby showers. You're going to birthday parties. You're going to your job. You're going to the gym. You're going to the grocery store, and you stretch yourself too thin, and you start to curse this world. And we're blessed. We're blessed. I'm not complaining, but I understand that mindset, and I don't want to be disingenuous. You start to curse this world, and you're almost ready for the Lord to take you home. And we don't want to get there. We don't want to get there. All right? So, I never saw myself having a house. Still don't. I hear that. But I don't have kids right now. Yeah, you might want kids. I don't want the responsibility as a single person having a house. And I can understand that. It's Miss Kimberly. Yeah, I don't know, Miss Kimberly. Do you want a family? And do you want kids? Is that one of your life goals? Because it's a beautiful thing if it is. But it's all relative to who you are. Do you want kids? I will be buying a house in the near future. That's interesting. But I have to really experience being a nomad. Well, that's good. You're experiencing it first. And really having to figure out things well, Angel, I think that's wisdom. So I think Angel's bringing up great perspective. That his goal, or he may change his mind, but right now he's saying that he may buy a house one day, but he wanted to experiencing being a nomad first. And I think that's wisdom. And why I think that's wisdom is because many people that I know from prior generation got married young, and they resented the fact that they never got to experience a certain amount of their life by themselves and living free. Because previous generations, there was a lot of society pressure to get married by age of 25, example. And when you get married by the age of 25, you may have felt like you haven't got to live your life enough, and then all of a sudden, your life is dedicated to your spouse and your children, and that builds resentment. So what I think Angel is doing with wisdom is he's not caving into the current society pressure, which is buy a house right away. He's experiencing his life as a nomad. And then once he experiences that, he'll then define and decide if he wants a house and what size. And water's good. I love spring water, man. What I think is wisdom, brother, is that once you do, because what you're going to find out is less is more. And when you do buy a house, you're not going to overreach. And that's going to bless you in your life. And even when you do end up buying a house, if you do decide to buy a house, once you've learned to live with less, you're going to realize you're not going to get caught in that consumerism trap. And that's wisdom. You're going to live a better quality life. And just remember to also take care of your mind, body, and soul. Take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health, and your emotional health. All those things matter in addition to your financial health. Never forget that, okay? I'm just going to look for another thing of water here. Maybe if I'm blessed with kids. Yeah, kids having a blessing for some people, great. But I don't want to pop out babies. Yeah, I know. Just want to say, it has to feel right for me. Yes, it has to feel right. That's right. With the right person. I'm 33, so you're very young. God bless you. So time's ticking. Yeah, well, it is ticking. For a woman, that's the pressure because you have a biological clock. And there is a certain amount of pressure there to have it by a certain age. Now, you're still relatively young, but 33, yes. For a woman, it is ticking. But, Miss Kimberly, what I'm very impressed with you is, you've been through a lot of life experience. You've been to the military. I could tell, obviously, from our communications, you get it. That's a simple way of putting it. You get it. You're very wise, and you have a practical approach to life, and then you also, I can tell you have compassion. You have all the right tools to be a great parent. The reason I think you do is because you're not rushing it. I think that's wisdom. And if God and you want it to happen and magic happens, it's going to happen. But I think you'd make a great mother. It's not, you're going to fail too, though. I want to be honest too. Because I always want to give that compassion to all parents out there. And I realize this as I get older, I have more compassion on my parents, even my father, who I don't talk to anymore, is that being a parent is the hardest job out there. And you're going to fail. And even though I don't talk to maybe my father anymore, I still have compassion. I realize he did the best he could. And I realize how hard it is to deal with the pressures of this world, period. And then also deal with the pressure of A parent's heart is always worrying about their child, and that's a huge burden on your soul. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I don't want to be unbalanced, but it's a lot. And you fail because you feel like you got to do everything right. And I want to give you grace. I want to give you grace. That's what I'm trying to say. It's true, Sam, but if it wasn't for this step, I would never really have seen this be around. Yes, Angel, you're doing the right thing, brother. You really are. I'm young at age, but my eggs, I know your eggs, yeah, you might have to freeze them. But don't freeze them. Do it natural. Oh, thanks, hon. You're welcome. You earned it. I mean, you're a beautiful person. And, you got the good filters, too. You definitely may get a guy with the good filters. I can imagine it's just been scary as a parent. Yeah, big time. Just the thought of it scares me. It should scare you. It's not easy. I mean, JPM Lawn Care probably break it down for you. She had 3 kids. Oh, JPM Lawn Care, why don't you share with Miss Kimberly number 1 thing you learned about being a parent? I would love JPM Lawn Care to break it down for you. I mean, because I don't want to see him preach to you with no kids. I'm giving you what I learned as growing up as a child and then my parents. If anybody out there has raised kids, I know Moon Dancer has kids. Anybody out there with kids that's in this live chat, please share. Because share the number 1 lesson that you have learned in being a parent. I think it will bless somebody tonight. Too much to say. Laugh out loud. I know that's right. But I mean, if you can really, look inside your soul and think, if you had 1 sentence to pass down to someone as far as the life lesson you learned on being a parent, I mean, that's powerful. If you can think of something and share it, it really is. Excuse me as I drink this water. I started early, and I'm a grandpa of 2. Oh man, God bless you, Angel. That's awesome, brother, man. Awesome. Bless you, man. Oh man, you're on a great journey, brother. Well, Angel, I'm sorry. Where'd you say you at? What state? If you want to share, you don't have to share. Could you give us a heads up on one of your videos before you do a live video? I'll try to, Moon Dancer. I'm still learning on that. If I can give you advance notice, I'll try to research that. What I can say in general, NY. Oh, so yeah, Angel, you're right by me. So yeah, we're right in the area. So of course, in one word, strength. Yeah, strength. JPM Lawn Care with 3 kids said 1 word, strength. Obviously, take that perspective. My perspective is I just want to say grace. But yeah, I think that's great. Thank you, JPM Lawn Care. So Angel, yeah, New York. See, New York is so big too because when I went to Vermont and Connecticut this year. I mean, upstate New York is huge. So you got upstate New York, you got the city of New York, and then of course you got New Jersey. Some people make a video saying they're going live at a certain time. Yeah, you know what? No, Moon Dancer and okay, I hear you. It's Miss Kimberly and Moon Dancer. You both make good points. I'm gonna try to do that. I just don't want to also lead people astray because I have to leave a little flexibility in because I'm not sure when exactly. What I will say in general, I'm definitely making note of both the things you said, and I'm going to try to do that. In general, I just want to share with you in general for my regular viewers. In the beginning of the week, I would say from Sunday through Tuesday will probably be somewhere in the range of 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. And from Wednesday to Saturday will probably be in the range of 5 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. So those will be the pockets that I'll try to work around, and then I'll leave a level of flexibility. But both great suggestions. Well, Moon Dancer, I appreciate the love and support. I do. I don't take that for granted. And I'm very thankful for it because without this connection, this live stream isn't magic. I mean, I'm still going to share because I'm just sharing what's on my heart, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Say no to obligations. Yeah, that's a great video. If you look at my playlist, I think it's on Insights and Life Lessons. I did a video. I think it's real funny. It says just say no to obligations. That was one of my first videos on my journey. Check that out. That was funny. It even made me laugh. Angel, we should all make a chat time here for the world to join us. Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna, like I made this video this morning, what the Lord put on my heart or what I was reflecting on, is consistency. So if you ever start a YouTube channel, and if anybody on here ever has a desire, I want you to know you have my support. I'm not one of those people that think like, oh, I want to suck, I want to suck all the views to me. I want people to do them. If you want to open up your own YouTube channel, do you. But what I want to say is when I started deciding if I wanted to do a YouTube channel, I had one years ago when I did a nonprofit organization. I just did like, basically around spiritual stuff. But when I had made a second go at it this year, I started researching at it because I was discouraged in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, the first month or so, like nobody joins and nobody watches your videos. The secret, there's no secret. The principle of that And the principle of starting your own business, the principle of any type of success in life is consistency. So if you're consistently uploading videos, if you're consistently have some type of pattern with live stream, if you're consistently show up at your job, whether it's lawn care, whether it's corporate world, whether it's waxing, consistency is the principle of success. Showing up and being consistent. And then let the chips fall where it may. Well, I'm sorry. Let the chips fall where they may. You cannot try to orchestrate, things to a certain extent where it's not organic. You gotta just let it flow. And that's like sometimes when in the beginning, if people don't join, I just talk. I just share. I have a structure on what I want to share about, and I just let it go. And if nobody joins, then I'll just save it as a video. We should all make it. Yep, that's right. Everything in life is difficult before it becomes easy. That's true, Angel. Yeah, we have to fail. We have to learn to fail before we can become successful. I mean, I know it's old school, but I have in my office, I have a poster of Michael Jordan. It's a little bit corny, but it's true. Michael Jordan and Thomas Edison. Michael Jordan's quote on a poster, it says like he took so many shots and he missed. He listed all his failures. Of course, he got cut from the high school basketball team. He listed all his failures, and then at the bottom he says, "But because I failed, it taught me how to be successful," basically. And then the Thomas Edison quote in my office says, because he failed supposedly at inventing the light bulb, he failed like over 10,000 times. He said that I didn't fail 10,000 times, I just figured out how not to do it. So failure, I mean, I'm saying all that to say failure is a huge part of success. And we need God's grace, though, because there's going to be many times in failures that if it wasn't for the grace of God, you didn't go too far deep into the failure, that God lifted you out of that, or whatever you want to believe. If you don't want to believe in God, that's fine. But I'm just speaking from my perspective. Failure is part of success. I'm saying all that to say you gotta embrace that, and it's scary and it hurts sometimes, though. So true, Angel. Yeah, Angel's preaching. Angel's giving that word, and that's good stuff, man. A lot of positive stuff, man. Excuse me again for blowing my nose and stuff. That Thomas Edison quote is one of my favorites. Yeah, that's very inspirational. And most people, like if you look, you Google, and of course all the inspirational people that make it. Excuse me, guys. I got kicked off. And back on. But yeah, if you look up, like, you know what I mean, any type of motivational speaker and stuff, they all like pretty much give you that same mantra. They break down all the successful people throughout history. And if you look, one common theme to most people that have achieved something successful is they had a lot of failure before they achieved that success. But that sounds sexy, but let me tell you something from personal life experience. When you fail, it feels like the world's going to end, and you almost want the world to end. So I certainly don't want to just like give you the failure's part of success speech, because everybody gives that. I want to show compassion, and I want to tell you that you're going to need the grace of God. You're going to need it, because when there's certain times when I failed and I felt like the world was caving in on me, it's only for the grace of God. For me. That's how if it wasn't for the grace of God, I wouldn't have been able to succeed. So yeah, but failure's part of it. There's no doubt about that, and all part of that journey. And that should keep us humble. It should keep us compassionate. You need that. You don't want to be, and I like what Moon Dancer told me the other day. I really reflected on it, and I kind of regret a little bit making the video updated 3 of the top Nomad channels, because then I said I shouldn't have co-signed some of those guys. But either way, one thing Moon Dancer said is one person that we both used to watch is actually a guy from Texas. He did become self-important and arrogant in one sense, and I don't want to say his name again, but Moon Dancer had really broken it down. She really articulated it well on how this person had become self-important. And I think self-importance comes from lack of humility and lack of personal self-evaluation and humility. I failed a lot more than I thought and made it through each time by the grace of God. You got to hashtag grace of God. I believe in it. And again, it's no disrespect to anybody out there that believes in something different or doesn't believe at all. Again, we're just speaking from our perspective on that issue. I believe in the grace of God, man. Not more powerful, man. Very humbling. Hard to explain, though, too. So I certainly don't want to give you a big thing. People try to explain it. You have to experience the grace of God. I can't explain that. I'll be sitting here giving you a bunch of BS. I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to pander to you. That's not right. It's not right. But also, too, just as a general note, because I like to talk about I'm looking at there's a gas station in front of me. It's grace for sure. JPM Lawn Care. You testifying. That's right. Yeah, you got to have that grace. Gas right now in North New Jersey is $2.49 at this gas station. $2.49 regular. I don't know what you guys are at in Texas and South Carolina. What's the gas prices looking down there? I mean, we've been blessed. It's still been under $3. You can't be mad at that. I mean, living in 209. Oh man, that's cheap. It's Miss Kimberly. Yeah, you got good gas prices down there. That's great. Well, of course, Texas is a big oil big oil state. There's a lot of refineries though in New Jersey. I will say that. In different areas of North New Jersey. There's an ambulance going by. 219 for JPM Lawn Care. Oh yeah, respect and love to that. Yeah, 219. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. You guys are both cheaper than me. But I guess it's all relative because I think probably the cost of living is probably a little bit more expensive up here. But when you're living out of a car, cost of living is the same everywhere pretty much. So, I mean, gas, people often ask me, is gas my biggest expense? No. Probably food. I remember when gas was 89 cents back in the 90s. Yeah, when I got my license, I'm 37. I got my license in 1998, and I remember bought a used Honda Acura Legend, all white. You couldn't tell me anything. I mean, I thought I was the man. All white. It was a used Acura Legend. It was a 91, and it was 98 when I got it. But I felt good about it. And it had a leaky sunroof, though. It did. But it still looked good. And I remember gas was 99 cents a gallon at that time. And for regular. But everything changed. I mean, whatever. That's 98. For 20 years later, for it to be $2.50 or $2 in some place, that's not that bad. I think for me, my expenses living as a nomad, as far as the variable ones that can fluctuate based on how much it's the food. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I know it cut in and out. I agree. Food is my biggest expense, but it's better than rent. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, it's rather that because, look, you can always play with that too, right? I mean, you can really cut down if you wanted to live a simple life. Gas shot up after Hurricane. Yeah, gas definitely shot up after Hurricane Harvey. And, of course, it's all part of speculation too on the public market where they bid up the oil prices. That's part of it too. But yeah, food, you can play with that expense because if you really want to live on beans and stuff like that, I mean, you can live real cheap and you can cut your food expenses down. So it's all relative to who you are and how you want to live. But it is better because you can always play with that number. And if you really want to, I mean, you can live on $20 a day. Your biggest thing is, if you don't have a job, your biggest thing is going to be healthcare. That's why I always promote you got to have a job. And if you don't have a job and you're going to do some type of personal business, they know people need gas, so they raise it. Yeah, that's true. But with green energies and stuff, the electric cars, they haven't really fully panned out. I mean, there's some out there, but they're not cost effective. So, right, you can get a Chevy Spark. When I had a house and I was started to look at the downsized life, of course, I wasn't thinking about living out of my car. I was just thinking about staying in my condo and just having a cheap car. And I was going to buy a Chevy Spark, which is like one of the cheapest cars in the market. It's like $12,000 or something like that new. And it's very, very fuel efficient. It's a little almost like a smart car. But it takes regular gas. And that is more cost effective than a Toyota Prius because a Toyota Prius is going to be 25,000 gallons. I mean, $25,000 or more. And you're never going to save $10,000 worth of gas. It'd take you decades to save that much in gas. So electric cars still, you still need gas. You still need gas. Medical and dental insurance is a must. Yeah, the number one cause of bankruptcy, believe it or not, is medical bills. Number one cause of bankruptcy in America. In North America, the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical bills. And if you don't have health insurance, it's going to cause bankruptcy. Because God forbid, somebody could just right now, somebody could just ram right into you, or God forbid something happen, you fall, and you have a catastrophic injury, and it could totally wipe you out. Medical bills can go up to the millions. And what are you going to have to do? If you don't have health insurance, then you're going to have to claim bankruptcy to absolve you of that. And so, that's part of it too. But that's why I said I want to go too. I bought an electric car bicycle this year. Did you? I bought an electric car bicycle. That thing is awesome. That's cool. I never even knew about they had electric bicycles. Yeah, that's interesting. But on the health note too, that's why I go back to, you got to just take care of yourself. Self-care is the new healthcare, in my opinion. Self-care is the new healthcare. Now look, again, you can't control if you're going to get in an accident or if you're going to fall or God forbid you just have some type of, catastrophic health thing. But take care of yourself. Eat the right foods, stay active, drink water. It's not easy. I struggle with weight in my life, so I'm certainly not preaching. But self-care is the new healthcare, in my opinion. In my opinion. Yeah, it's all positive. Yeah, electric bike. That's interesting. I don't think I've seen an electric bike on the road yet. You could you live off electric bike? I don't think so. You would need to tent camp around that. No, I don't think so. Uh, but all good things. All good things. All right, yeah. Look up rad bikes. I'm gonna look that up. But it's been a positive live stream. It's 7:33 right now Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna call a night because I got to do a couple other things and then I got to get ready to position myself for get my proper amount of sleep. Love and respect to everyone who joined. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a positive, peaceful night. And bye, Miss Kimberly. And bye, JPM Lawn Care. Bye, Moon Dancer. Bye, everyone who joined. Angel, everyone. And we'll reconvene tomorrow, God willing. Until then, have a peaceful, positive night. All right? Stay inspired.